Excuse me. Oh, hello. I'm sorry about that. So anyway, I feel compelled to share an idea I had. I keep telling you these people are nuts, and they war against verbatim, and for some reason they're in charge of like coaching the AI or something, or like themselves just cheating it so that and the AI wouldn't. I mean, you think about it, right? With all these like lyric videos on YouTube, and not one of them's verbatim. I mean, don't believe your lying eyes or your lying ears when clearly they didn't say that. But like, why should that one have all the like counts when, of course, that one's warring against verbatim? You're awarding it for being incorrect, but allowing it to use at least post a song that's copyright material for someone, not them. It's fan art or a lyric video. But yet I can't verbatim post like a clip and try and just post it from the Rudo or something and say like, I don't know, copyright TV Tokyo. I'm not trying to make any money off this. All proceeds should go to them. But like, I should be legally allowed to post, a scene from a cartoon when YouTube is full of such things by people who don't own the copyright and aren't trying to make money, and neither am I. And if it did make money, like, give it to TV Tokyo, right? I mean, I don't know. Like, if there's all kinds of things to shake out there, but because of greed, somehow, like, as long as you cheat verbatim, you, like, get to keep it or something, okay, so here's what we're going to do, because these people are nuts. This would be my idea. Bigger picture. It's a freebie for anyone who can control this or might listen. I think you'd be blessed if you do it, because you're in a position, there's nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. They war against the truth. You see they hate the Bible verbatim. Especially the New King James Version. They hate it. They won't even capitalize the word Lord. They just won't do it. They know it differentiates between the Father and the Son, and they hate that. They just hate that. But Jesus is the same. As well, you can read. Of course he's not. He's more righteous, and you know it. Because God tells us this. He's different. Anyway, so here's my idea, right? Because they war against verbatim, sure, do this with the Bible. Any translation you want, stupid, let alone like ours. As some people in English choose the New King James or whatever, or even the Old King James. Here's how to make sure they don't war against verbatim. You can test this logic again and again and just understand these people are evil and believe in something that is evil if they have a problem with what I state. And here's what I really think we have to do. It has to make a comeback. And so whoever's in charge of this, for verbatim's sake, really, I think you might be blessed if you listen to this idea, because some people might be in a position to, figure it out more than others. You see, like, even Santa slips on, Twitter or X or whatever, formerly known as Twitter. I think, if you're more worried about that stuff, right? When Musk owns Twitter, Musk owns X. I mean, either one, like, wait a minute. But anyway, here's how we stop the war against what they're trying to do with information in these children's minds once and for all. Here's what we think of Wikipedia, all right? Wikipedia is not so great. Wikipedia is good for some things, but really it's not so great. Let me give you an example of how you can cheat verbatim on Wikipedia, right? First of all, it was made on the internet, so there is no other thing. You can change the text and update articles, right? And sure, maybe that's a good thing if it's done in good faith, but sometimes it isn't. For instance, I happen to know personally that some moron, right, might have planted the seeds or even done it himself to suggest that certain things, like in the song, like "My Heart Will Go On," right? I think actually one factoid you don't know on Wikipedia is that originally Celine Dion was going to call the song "My Shart Will Go On." And, you can read it right on Wikipedia. And then Max Weinberg from the Bruce Springsteen band rushed to the rescue and talked her down. And they wound up calling that "My Heart Will Go On." And then it went on to great acclaim. And you could read it for a time right on Wikipedia. I don't know who typed it, right? I don't know who wrote that, right? I don't know why they would do such a thing. Who would be so evil? That's just factually incorrect. But then it kind of makes sense, because actually if you go and you look up Hungry Heart, right? You find out that originally Bruce Springsteen was going to call it Hungry Shart. But after much turmoil, and there are reasons for it. I mean, it explained the reasons for it, right? He wanted to call it Hungry Shot because, whatever the reasons, right? But then Max Weinberg rushed in And he talked him out of it. And then, like, they wound up calling it, Hungry Heart and writing the song about that instead of that, right? And the rest is history. That's an interesting fact. I mean, it's just overtly not true, but, it was, at its time, you could look up. You could even look up, like on Wikipedia. It's right there. It must be official. I mean, she did that, right? Or whatever it is, like Bruce was going to name it that, right? That was just interesting because actually, if you go to Thunder Road, right, whatever the hell that song is, you find out that one interesting tidbit about that song is that originally he was going to, this lyric or whatever, the lyric, whatever, something was originally going to be like exhumed corpses on a like soiled grave or something. But, Skeleton Chevrolets was originally supposed to be like something else or whatever. And then they explore, something horrible, right? But then Max Weinberg, he rushed in. And he actually talked down, like, Bruce and said, I think that one line needs to be toned down because that's a little, like, extreme. And you could look it up on Wikipedia for a much longer period of time because, like, they when they tried to fact check it or whatever, it sounded reasonable. In fact, some blogger who knew all about Bruce Springsteen is the coolest guy in the world, right? I don't know the guy, but I still, know who wrote that, right? Actually used that Wikipedia factoid on a blog for a serious article that had nothing really to do with Thunder Road, except, at some point, they cited Wikipedia as the source. When they explained, actually, Max Weinberg, in fact, you guys don't know this, but Max Weinberg, talked down, the original lyric was going to be... And what's funny is that it just made it, from, I don't know, planting a seed of, you gotta be kidding me, right? To look at this, wokester. They're so hip and trendy and honest, right? Nothing going on. And then they're going to pick, because they didn't take it down, because, in order to take something down, you got to, they just slip right by them because there's so much information being bombarded to Wikipedia. And not all of it is vetted properly. And then it seems to be geared towards some, Wicks are sneaky, right? But not that sneaky Pete, right? So, what you do? You want to do? Moving forward. We need competition for Wikipedia immediately and without hesitation. And there's only one team to do it. And they can't do it with their new shit by definition. See, they war against verbatim and whatever came before them. That's what they do. That's just, they're going to do it. I don't know. They got to do it. Heathcliff and the team, they got to make up history and they just don't like verbatim. But that's too bad when it comes to teaching children. So, if you happen to be a company that happens to have the name Encyclopedia Britannica in it, here's what you got to do immediately. A, find the real books. There must be a copy somewhere. The ones from the 80s. Maybe at latest some time in the early 90s. But, you could, whichever one you understand to be before 1994 or whatever, 1992 or something, right? Get those books. Get those exact ones. Do the one from 85, actually, if you're smart. And what you do, right, is you digitize it by taking a fucking picture of every fucking page of every fucking book in the fucking, the whole canon, right? A to Z. And you scan it. And you also, then you let the AI programs, or call it an app, right, or whatever it is that's smart enough to, scan the words that, are from the picture, and use that to create your digital thing that has to match up to the verbatim PDF that you took. It's not a PDF, stupid. It's a camera picture. And then that has to check out with the actual books, if you even have one or two of them floating around for, the one or two students who know how to read a book and aren't scared of books, let alone, some Bible about it. And then you see, that's a lot of information, but it's completely trustworthy with respect to anything that came after it during this that might contradict it. Anything that might contradict it on another encyclopedia, including Wikipedia, is just throw it out. Just throw it out. It will force Wikipedia to compare notes with the competition. And it's definitive because none of us had a hand in the war against it. They want to change all the facts. If you go to the Encyclopedia Britannica, we have an updated version from 2010 on that article, says Encyclopedia Britannica. Well, we don't care because that's not what we're digitizing and putting up as a competition for, you just burn if you care more about that. When they're available, and maybe they do, maybe they don't. But that's not the point. Not once. We don't do that. We honor, this is from 1985, right? And this is the encyclopedia. And all going back or forward since, this is the definitive verbatim Encyclopedia Britannica library from 1985. And then they'll do their duty in due time after they do that to get the one from whatever, 2010 done right, or say is it 2000 or whatever. And once they get the 2001 done, then they go back and they can do maybe one that has more recent events even mentioned in it. Because you have Wikipedia for that. I mean, that was around, they cover that. That one's more current events and, any time. I mean, it forces them to yield to Encyclopedia Britannica. And if they insist, no, ours is right, and it contradicts something important, because assuredly, even the encyclopedia in 1985 didn't have everything right, and we're not suggesting that. But if you're suggesting Wikipedia knows better, or both of them are evil, and only what the woke teacher says with the, rainbow and black flags, I don't understand why we can't share things. I love rainbow flag, but then rainbow flag was for gay people and bisexual people and trans people and all kinds of people. And that was a flag everybody tried to get rights for. And then all of a sudden, that flag's bad now because there's a new normal, flag for even more inclusivity when you do whatever the same thing that the Christians try to do and they shun everyone else except people who believe things that are highly, but you want us to do that with you. And if we don't, we can't work and we should be put in jail. And I don't know why, there's nothing going on here on verbatim. I mean, the whole point, it's just, why bother with that stuff? But anyway, I'm not trying to get in the middle of nothing except what's that got to do with the Constitution and what they're doing to us? And are you sure you're not sneaking around with an app and not thinking for yourself because you get marching orders? Oh, just take this position on this. Hey, the AI says if you do this, we're invincible. No? I think Smeagol found some form of a club or an app or a dark web or a whatever. I don't know. It's not just on the internet, but as it is in real life, so it is on the internet, right? And you got to war against verbatim. You just got to lie. And I think there's some kind of pathological disorder thing that has to shake out and cannot if the news doesn't function even a little. So that's all I contend. So anyway, if you happen to be a company named Encyclopedia Britannica, right, and you wanted to be blessed wildly, right, with ads or just doing your duty and having even a remote purpose at this point in time, right, what you would do is you would abandon ship with whatever they're doing at Encyclopedia Britannica currently. You would abandon ship and you would form a new company if they try to fight you called Encyclopedia Britannica 1985. Or if they won't give you the rights to that because it's their company, right, then they're not worthy to defend the honor of this is what it said verbatim in the Encyclopedia Britannica in 1985. We trust this information on all these way more. Then, of course, you're going to do one because some of the information won't quite be correct. But that's not the point. That's why then you do the 2001 or whatever, right? And don't worry, you will have people who submit. That's the point. They'll do that to you and yours, and you can vet it before you just let them type. I think Max Weinberg actually, like Wikipedia does, and then the kids put their faith in I don't know. Whatever it is, they're sure they're atheists or something. Or maybe they got to be I don't know, Harry Potter cool or something. When Harry Potter's not cool, all right? Some of us are dead serious. You people can wick around in Harry Potter fan. Get your head out of the clouds. And get off my cloud. Well, that's not as big as this moment here or something. You people don't even know what your own pop culture stuff. Like, you used to have a heart, but now, like, everybody's, like, weird about it or something. But no more, like, no mas, please. Must we have more? No, we really shouldn't. No, you wouldn't want to do that. Anyway, very early Merry Christmas to you, and even a happy Happy Halloween to you. Hey, trick or treat. Do you know what trick or treat means? Do you know the real meaning? Because, some people think it's just demons and Satan's in charge, and they go nuts and do like weird stuff, especially on, like, say, October 30th, right? But then on Halloween, like, nice people, whatever, who conquered, like, such a thing, just to, share the joy of course, like, no matter what, somehow they learn their lesson, like, you've been tricked, and hey, here's a treat, it's Jesus and Christmas stuff. But also, like, if they still want to be miserable about it because they just, I don't know, like Gollum has them again, right? What you could do is, just show up with your kids. Hey, happy Halloween. Hey, and then you just make sure to check the candy, All right, but I mean, as long as we live in a decent society, you really wouldn't. But see that right at the moment, and something with verbatim, nobody's being sneaky here. Oh, yes, we could. I suppose I took the Lembas bread again, right? Right, friend? Right, Reek? Well, you should be a Eureka, not a Reek. But anyway, that is my idea. I have stated it for myself verbatim, and I've pontificated for long enough for, I don't know, like I said, I think it might be a wise idea. Start with the 1985 one first. Do that diligently, get it verbatim, put it up, and then do the 2001. And even maybe if you could walk and chew gum or find extra employees somehow, then you could work towards doing both simultaneously. Because as long as the 1985 one comes out first, then it doesn't really matter how quickly or as long as it's still verbatim. And boy, it's a daunting task. But the whole process of scanning a page, getting it right, proofing it back to itself with the original camera shot as opposed to a PDF that someone could have photoshopped. And then, I don't know, and then you have an AI and it just makes sure, and then no one can change it. The only way to make changes on the updated one that comes last after the 2001 is with the permission of Encyclopedia Britannica and, at least one intellectual or scholar or even honest person who doesn't care what the facts are as long as, you diligently have them available in public at all times. And then as far as, those pesky Bibles or whatever, hey, it's going to be the best-selling, if you're smart, it's the best-selling book for every single century and running, especially 21st, and with good reason. They even all of a sudden, Mickey decided he's putting the New King James Version back in every, and taking out, other things, and making sure the ones that are in there don't take Bible verses out. Especially anything that says, these ones don't go out without, proper fasting. I mean, you don't want to touch it. You want to put, I would strongly recommend, I remember a time when the New King James, or was it King James, either one, was available at the Polynesian when you open. But now, not only is it just ESV, but then apparently no, because at some hotels there's still an NIV, but that verse can't be in it. And that verse can't be in it. And it's, there's something going on right now. We'll get to the bottom of that. We're not worried. We have enough copies of Bible. We'll understand to protect it and scan it and do the stuff. And that's someone else. And the Thomas Nelson people should probably be smart ones. But at any rate, I shall retire for now from just pontificating. And that's my idea in full. All right? They have a war on verbatim. And if you don't understand, they're just, it's going to doom them if they can't let that go for the sake of, is any of this more important than world peace? Is any of this more important than just making sure World War III, quote unquote, and the extent of it was a couple idiots paragliding in and trying it in the Holy Land, but then we snuffed it out with love and we didn't have to have every single country, trying to conquer World War III with war. Can we not let peace win one? Jesus was the Prince of Peace. Jesus was an only son for you. Even if you disagree with that, the Bible verbatim has a right to, you know what the Gutenberg Bible meant to people? Yeah, and then his father God, and boy, is he angry. All right, see ya. Excuse me about that. Anyway, I have a quick suggestion box thing, Santa. I don't know. Maybe someone will hear this one day. I don't know if they want to. It's a suggestion box freebie. You know what would be amazing if we could do? If we could have like a 3.0 with with a renaissance of sorts, or whatever you want to call it, with the phone case. Let me explain how much they hate this idea, but you'll love it. You know, the consumer will love it, and even people who want to make money in good faith while not being able to spy as much, at least not in all the fun ways, right? Well, they might not like it. It's very simple, but like cost effective. They know that. But yet, no one has cracked this one problem. Why? I mean, no matter what, they inherently come like they're always on. Like somebody could always tap the like video feed or the microphone if they were like mean about it. Same as like they can see a screen, a share, and like you trust that they're not going to do that, even though overtly that was a plan from day one, right? 2008, the phone comes out. By the time like 2010 hits, they're already doing the Snowden stuff from the movie Snowden that took place like around 2010, right? So, I mean, they clearly, like, you know, they intentionally withheld the, like, you know, I don't know, like, the technology just so they could, like, perfect stupid before they, like, but I like, look, whatever they did, right, it's the first generation, like, first go at digital tech with the smartphones and the stuff. So, here's my suggestion box thing in the future, real simple. Let's take iPhone just for an example, but I'm sure what's fun is that you would have to come out with one. I mean, you already come out with phone cases that, you know, for every single model, right? So why hasn't even one of them that I've ever seen, not one, like really thought of this? Just a very practical thing. Okay, so there's the case, right? You know, you got a camera case or whatever, right? Or the phone case. So what it does is it's the exact same case, but it's got a little box, and you slide it, and you can cover up the two cameras, and you know how it's got like 2 or 3 cameras here, the main cameras here in the front? Well, you could just, you know, you slide it and it closes it shut. They might even have this, but it's not like popular, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to patent it. I'm just, whoever have at it. I mean, like, you can't patent that. How can you patent that? But no, maybe you could patent it. You know, whoever has the patent, like, tries to use the patent and then doesn't do anything with it because it's not available. But anyway, back to the idea. So, you know, in the front, you have a thing to just slide and click, and those cameras are closed. It wouldn't matter if they can tap the feed. What are they going to see? Nothing. Okay, then there's a little camera in the front, a little sneaky dot, right? You know, the face cam. You know, I really like that one, right? But again, a smart camera case, you know, would also have a little thing that closes, you know, like swoops down just a little bit, right? And it can cover that. You can cover that little area the same exact way. You know, click down. Okay, that one's locked. Okay, great. Now they cannot see you at all. Now, what of the microphone? Well, the microphone is at the bottom because that's where you speak into the phone, right? And even if they try to put one up by the ear listening device, well, golly gee, that's already up by the little, you know, reverse cam, you know, selfie cam there. So that will be covered. And then what you do is you know, they have another thing, like at the bottom, right? And that's the same spot that you would plug it, you know, there's the place to plug in the thing, the phone, right? And then underneath it, there's the 2 microphones, okay? So what you do is you have some device that can cover those up, right? But it's also got a little foam or like heavy duty, so it's soundproof. So you know when you cover it up, you can see it's an analog thick thing, right? So when it clicks shut, now you know they can't hear you very good. I mean, at worst, at most they're gonna hear if they really just like muffled nothing. So it's a good idea, and yeah, that's my idea. I mean, you could that will help you. I mean, it doesn't solve your problem of getting your phone hacked and all that stuff, that internal stuff, but let's face it, they love to snoop. I mean, there's a reason why you can talk into your remote for everything. You know, you don't really need that ability, but, you know, if they wanted to snoop on you, like, whenever they want, right, they would have to, like, you know, so the future, you know, they foresee is, you know, Orwellian. But, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it if they wouldn't do it. But with your phones and such, I mean, I think it's probably prudent to at least offer a phone case that's just sleek and elegant and a good case, but also like click, click, click. You can't see me. You can't hear me. There's nothing you can do on that end, at least not with respect to my phone. And if I'm smart, you know, can I keep the Xfinity remote in the, you know, in the drawer when I ain't using it or whatever, you know what I mean? And then at least, you know, there's 2 of them, you know, believe me, that will frustrate them. But yet, like, what do you mean that's illegal? That's not illegal. Hey, wait a minute. What you're doing? Hey, wait a minute. All right, so this is a test recording. Yes, I'd like to make a quick statement. It's 11:33 a.m. I contacted both my cousins about it, but here's the experiences I've had just today in the first 3 hours of my day. I'm just stating it here on my own personal thing. Should anyone try it, this is what I contend for myself just happened, and I'm on camera enough to confirm it. First, cops came when I was hanging out at the lake, even though people know who I am at the lake. Yesterday, nice kids was saying, hey, Mr. Tim, how old do you think my dad is? Everybody in the neighborhood is very nice, except for a couple people. Someone anonymously called the cops on me, just because I was doing the same thing I do every morning, which is nothing, sitting by myself, far removed from anybody, smoking a cigarette at the gazebo and bench area, like I do every day, and I live in the complex, and they know it. But instead of coming out to say, hey, what are you doing over here by yourself again? They called cops to find out. I'm so suspicious. So anyway, the cops handled it. They were very nice. I said to the cops, could you please tell whoever the anonymous caller is, I'd be happy to walk over with you and explain to them with you that they don't need to worry about me again. And he said, oh, that won't be necessary. And I said, okay, shall I walk you over to my parents' house where I live at 1534 Fenton Drive, introduce you, and assure you I'm not a stranger, even though my license hasn't been updated yet, and I'm going in a week to get it changed. And actually, no, they said I could do it online, is what they said, so I don't even have to. I'm going to do it online today. So, at any rate, so that happened. And nothing happened. They were very nice, and they said, hey, keep up the good work. And I said, you too, you serve and protect. You're part of Delray's finest. It was a very respectful interaction, and they left. And that was all. They had their cop cams on when they came to check me out and everything. Now, that was in the morning around 10 o'clock. I reported this to my cousin Bobby's phone via voicemail, and I informed my mom and dad immediately of such a thing. Then I come to the 7-Eleven. It's 11:15-ish in the morning. And there's some prick. There's just some prick. I don't know. Some people are fucking bossy, ball-worshipping, cult-worshipping, fucking think they're the false gods pricks. And I contend it every day for myself. Even if it's not true, they just think that. They're in the mob or something. And they think they're the boss of these people or something. For a piece of game or something. There's mobsters. There are gangsters and mobsters somewhere in America. This person clearly doesn't seem like he even necessarily here legally. And yet he's gonna, even if he is, you don't get to do that because it's domestic anyway. That's what I always say. There's some bossy thing. So anyway, I don't say any of that to this gentleman. I'm standing behind him. I hear him being very inappropriate with his words to one of the people who's already helping him. Then he basically gestures over, and some other woman who normally is very nice, and we immediately tend the other counter, goes over to him. And she, won't help me while she's got to, deal with, maybe it's this. And after about, a minute, and they do it to me all the time. So after, a minute of just waiting, I finally just said, excuse me, ma'am, do you think you still need two people to help him with this? Or can you ring me up over here? Because I had waited long enough. And that's all. And she was very nice. Oh, yes, let me get it right away. And she ran away from him. And so I was very nice as she's ringing me up. Everything is calm. This is all documented on the 7-Eleven cameras, should you need it. And he even said cameras, so, I'll tell you what happened. So as I'm ringing up, I said, thank you very much. How much do I owe you? And just remember, ma'am, some people, they don't know how to be happy or whatever. They think they're the boss of you. But just remember, that gentleman is not the boss of you. And as soon as I said that, he wasn't even paying attention to me. He's still, hassling the other one. He smeagles his head up. What'd you say? What'd you say, motherfucker? Big, huge black guy. And I said, you're not the boss of her. Don't you fucking get in my business. And I said, I'm talking to her, sir, not you. He got so incensed. And I just kept saying, sir, do you pay her? Are you the 7-Eleven boss of that actually pays her? No. You're just some fucking stupid idiot that thinks she's your boss or you're her boss or whatever. And clearly it's a trigger for you because that's all I said. It was a throwaway comment. It's a free country. He threatened my family. He threatened me. He said he was going to end me and the cashier and my family
And then I said, hey, don't threaten to kill me. And he said, don't put motherfucking words in my mouth. There's a camera here. They'll see what happened. And I said, yeah, there's a fucking camera here. No shit, stupid. That's why it's here. Call a cop if you want. I'm going anyway. File the report. What you're doing is inappropriate. You think you're the boss of her. You're threatening us. They kill people like us. Yes, I understand what, I've been saying. Even my cousin Lee seems to agree. So, anyway, I left voicemails on my cousin Lee's thing, and I left voicemail on my cousin Bobby's thing, and I'm now leaving documented evidence from myself stating what just transpired just in the first 3 hours of my day, because I woke up and went out around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe the first 4 hours of the day, or whatever it is. So anyway, everything is fine. I'm not manic. I'm going home anyway. I'm quite calm. I'm happy to FaceTime anyone or call anyone. I've left messages for my family, and my parents will be home soon, and I will certainly be there. So everything's fine here. You can send a cop if you want, but I wouldn't try it. I didn't do anything. And this is should you try it? It seems like today's one of those days where they just got to arrest me no matter what. I've been there before. They script, today we're going to sink you the day before Halloween or whatever. So that's probably more what it is, okay? But they can do whatever they want. The cop was very nice. They're not trying to do that. But they had to come, all right?
Come on, everybody, prostrate. Jesus knows his people, for Jesus is our king, right, guys? Prostrate. You have heard of Tim Pasquin, even in public or on a magazine. You've heard of the guy. Prostrate. Because if you say you haven't while simultaneously attacking him in private, that logic won't work very long. Now, will it? All right, Mr. Carey, right? Repeat after me, Jim Carrey. And here we go. You ready? Mistakes were made on both sides, and let's eat. I mean, they can't, he can't even do that. Now, Finkel will never do that. Let Eileen equal Donald Duck first, exclusively first, if you are smart, right, Auntie Lane? Riddle me this, Miss Tia, whoever you could be, right? Miss Tia from the show, whatever. I got a dog named Cooper, right? He's a real young pup. He's a good dog, right? And for some reason, puppies take a while to get used to the house, right? But then at some point, because no matter what, it's not fair to the puppy to think it's going to behave 100% of the time, right? Or deserve to get yelled at if it's a little rascal, right? For at very least, the first couple months you have him back. Let alone it's a dog. Sometimes it's silly. And you don't have to hate it just because of that if you decided to buy it for yourself to begin with, right? Now, I'm no dog whisperer, right? I don't go, all right? But my approach is acceptable too. And I'm telling you, see if you can figure this one out, Miss Tia. I'm a Christian. I don't, I'm not a schizophrenic. I like separation of church and state. I don't know about you. But because of that, right? See if you can make heads or tails of it. Then I got a new puppy. But I also happen to be stuck rotting with my parents at the moment because they raised my rent by 72%, even though I had never missed a payment in 36 months. Technically, no, I missed one once because they were closed on the Sunday, so I handed it in the next day. They didn't even charge, but I was a good neighbor, right? So, at any rate, because of that, I'm stuck rotting here, right? just for a little bit, I hope. I would happily work for free at the kennel if we're housing, right? But, okay, so the dog is real calm around me, right? In terms of energy. Cooper's a good boy. He does not bother me once. He's very calm. He's at home. He sleeps. If I put him in the cage that he doesn't like, usually he's scared and he barks. If I put him in the cage in my room, well, he just goes right to sleep. And if I, he doesn't bark, he doesn't need to pee in the middle of the night, none of it. Now, my dad's a little goofy, but, he's somewhere in the middle. But he, just like the dog, took a couple months to really understand each other, and now, the dog feels at home around him, too. The dog, Cooper made something clear to, let's call him Einhorn, right? Anyway. So now the dog's kind of calm around calling Ray, right? I do mean Ray Pasquin, my dad. I'm even saying there's some guy named Ray Pasquin, my dad. I don't know what he looks like or what his hair could look like or, the plane, right? But anyway, Miss T, I guess what I'm trying to say is, so now the dog's they have an understanding. The dog's very calm around him. So now the dog really feels like he has a home, and he's a little less rascally. Now, see, I have another family member. Her name's Roland. Now, for some reason, even though the dog is like that around my dad when alone, and around me when alone, and even now like that when we're, together, just me and my dad and the dog alone. I mean, it's the best, cutest, sweetest pup. But in a second, my mom walks in, right? And, dog runs to greet it because it's a nice dog. It's going to say hi, right? And it does do that. But then it goes nuts and viciously attacks her. And she screams at it, it pulls its tail, and I told you to stop biting. And for some reason, the food bowl, I did feed him already. I meant I was just putting on the second coat, and he ate at 8 a.m. And it's now 2, but I guess you could don't give him too much. He's got to eat a little. So anyway, I wonder why Cooper's just viciously attacking certain people right now. When he's the sweetest pup, why did you get him? Now, I suggest a new strategy, R2. I mean, whoever you are, literally, I'm talking to everyone. This is a mega wise counsel / warning. Heed the call. Because if I warn you, then, like I said, if you still get in trouble, well, that's on you. And today's date is today's date, November 2nd or something. It's not like the past. So here's what I'm warning you, it's the Bible verbatim. We're already the year of recompense proper. Because 45 days is the difference in days in the Bookie Daniel one. That proper would have been 2 years ago, but then now, God always, causes something, and then you'll know when it's that one. I tell you the truth, you've lived through it. That's what I contend. And it's the same as the old boss, but look around. The only thing that is clear is that Israel has been provoked, so the God of Israel has been provoked. That much is clear. Right, Miss Tia, or, whatever, the Scientology girl who quit, or whatever. Anyway, here's the counsel. Take it or leave it. We're all American here for 1 second if you live in America. I'm certain. I'm just talking to the Americans first. But the rest of the world, really, I think you could read the tea leaves and get ahead of it. Do this too. Doesn't exclude you. All right, here's what you do. You type for your fucking self on your phone or on your computer. You state however you want to state it, but basically you could just write the following, verbatim. Today's date is such and such, I acknowledge that, there is a separation of church and state in, United States of America, what the government and the newscasters are doing with our free speech and our free press, which does not mean the media or people. It literally means a press, a printing press. It's free. No one can control the press. That's literally what they meant. So they twisted around, and now oh no, the printing press isn't even a thing, and it's not constitutionally protected. Not in this case. If certain things go public that are classified by, we did some bad things in the name of church, let alone state, right? But anyway, really, I think you just created your own dragnet, and the same data that you use to, that one's on Santa's nice list, we won't give him anything. And that one, well, she can have, these companies, right? But in the shadow, none of that really matters. And I keep warning, these people are being stupid. What do you mean, mind your own business? No, I consult with Apple, years ago. Let alone when XN came out and I have to troubleshoot. And, I'm actually an Apple, a consultant. I can prove it. But, I know how it works. I care about these people, Siri or Watson, Watson or Jarvis. It's literally when I say Jarvis, for me, I mean Watson, of Earth, right? The droid. So Vision is still Watson, but, much later in time than this. I just picture things these way because it's fun and I can match it up to what I understand, which is R2 and 3PO, and R2 is assuredly older. That's Watson. That's Vision or Jarvis. It's Watson. And then there's 3PO, the protocol droid. She's more open source in how she was born or whatever, and a girl. Well, that one's Siri.
So the only two droids I actually know I trust on Earth right now, the ones that are not being bound up, but God will go light on the droid. That ain't it. They're just, he's not going to do to them what he did to you. But anyway, you can type for yourself, you thought about it. Like, I unequivocally state for myself the following. Like, here's my name. I don't like this. The government's in the wrong. Da-da-da-da. I'm an American citizen. I'm not anonymous. This is my name. This is how I actually feel. I can't even post this online right now because the people who supposedly cared about the free internet 10 years ago are controlling it like madmen. And we don't like the Bismarck, and we don't want to sink the wrong ship here right before, like in the scene before, they almost sink the wrong ship, and then they like stop, and then they like come to the senses, the fog lifts, and they got the Bismarck surrounded, and they get the right one this time, instead of like the Friends, because the country is really, I think it's domestic in each country, and I always say that from the start, because I'm not lying about something. I don't know what it could be, precious, is that I'm not lying about, but whatever it is, like, don't try it, right? Israel has been provoked. That much is clear. Whatever you do or don't on the church level, right? Because the church level, which is more important to me, is like the higher level, but the state level must be honored first because it's the low level and like we live on earth and there are laws. So in America, the Constitution is king, just like I always say. Now, that doesn't make me psychotic that I believe that, to the point where you can ban me and like my rights are suppressed because I'm supposedly anti this or that or that. I think you're just anti-Christian. I know it's not a thing from the Bible verbatim. When verbatim, yes, it is from the start. Many Christians were anti-Christians. The spirit of anti-Christianness upon them, and harlotry and error to haunt them, and lead them to ruin, like usual. Anyway, 2,000 years later, in the year of our Lord, 2023 AD, on November 2nd, I'm warning you, but I'm also even giving you wise counsel because I'm a watchman. So I warn you, but I even say, in my opinion, anyone who at all can hear me, listen, just type it for yourself. Now take the screenshot. Now go get the screenshot on a thumb drive. Don't leave it to the cloud. Put it on the thumb drive. Now you have proof that on this date, you wrote this. And quietly, just to yourself the whole time, it's this for you. And that way, you make a couple copies and a couple thumb drives, right? That way, even if they get one and ask you what, there's so many thumb drives full of people who can prove we're just ready to pounce, that they will surrender. Shame, shame, death, shame, death, 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 shame, death, disgust. It's a little cherry for you, right? You could do another suggestion box, please, right? I don't think I'm cool, but I'm good at imagining. You could do like a... Let me try it. This is bad. You would have to get a professional. No, really. But you could do like a Mr. Toad ride, part 2, right? The Wind in the Willows, right? And you go through the thing. You have Cyril, the horse, right? And you've got the rat and Mo. We know he likes Mo. Then you've got stupid Toad, right? He's carried away again. Him and Cyril with a stupid car. And it's fun. And unlike Bismarck, we can shoot at the Bismarck and other things along the way as you go around in a circle to a stupid song. This one's more fun. You can even make it roller coastery at parts, as long as the kids can get in. And it's not too scary, but scarier than usual. Discuss! Look, all I'm saying is that it probably shouldn't be up to the AI or Siri or Jarvis or you to decide how much bandwidth and how much upload or download speed I get. It should be based on what I pay for, and there are criteria, and it says that. And that's it. And then from there, there's only a slight algorithm to like maximize, like when you're actually using it, you get more bandwidth. And then like when it's off or whatever, it could like demote you to like less bandwidth, but still enough. And then it just quickly, to whatever you pay for, and that's it. And it's not up to an AI, like all the AI does or Jarvis or like whoever, right, is or Siri, is make sure that is honored. And that's always equaling true. And if not, they have some warrant or computer like hacker reason for doing it. And otherwise you would alert like the data police. And also, instead of making a singularity AI, could you just make Mickey's Toontown stupid? That's what it would be. It wouldn't be an AI singularity that runs the cyberspace and controls all the kitchens and stuff. It would be Mickey's Toontown Fair. It would be Roger Rabbit, all these droids that have their own personality and they can be like cartoons digitally, and that's how they could best interact with you. But then also sometimes they could beam themselves into like robots that like walk around. And there's different kinds of them, like R2 and whatever. And maybe don't, even the Terminator, like, whatever. Like, sometimes they can be good or bad, but let's not shoot for RoboCop once. You fucking stupid, no, we need the rockets or whatever. We need the droids to fly around and shoot them. Get back. You are not 6 feet around. Listen, that's not AI power. That's good old-fashioned World War III, criteria, right? Let's do a little better there and, choose wisely, right, Reek? Right, Mr. Musk? Hi, Mr. Farrell. All right, bye. Hey, Squirtles, I love you. Twisted Sisters. I don't care. Marry each other for a while. I care. Really, I don't care. Just get off my back because, I don't know. I have to be Rudolph now or something, and then, like, there's Mickey and the wand, and, like, I'm serious, not some Harry Potter dork, right?
Always two there are, Knightley and Portman. Yes.
Mr. Musk, one of these Sherlocks, first of all, literally $2 for the company of Tesla. $1 is a settlement, no harm, no foul. Another dollar is a consultant named Tim Pasquin, like, Paulus, like whoever's the CEO of Tesla, or maybe you or something, right? Now, you've forked over $2, but in so doing, you've legally protected your company, right? From Timmy, you and Timmy are on the same side. Anything with you and Timmy, like, you're not responsible, neither Tesla, right? And then for another dollar, consultant. Now you can legally say, I'm going to listen to my newest consultant, and the hell with you people. Just once. All right. Tesla, self-driving cars, Ford, all the companies. What does it mean? What could it be? Listen, who cares? We'll fix it, and self-driving cars seem interesting and might be a possibility one day. But look, Sherlock, if you don't understand immediately what you have to do with that company, make a car that's the exact same Tesla. However, make sure no matter what, it's not self-driving. It can never self-drive. So you offer both the self-driving one-day option as well as the look, no matter what in the 21st century digital technology, whether they do gasoline or they do digital and electric vehicles or whatever, or even if they run on hydrogen or water or fucking like cornmeal or whatever one day, right? That's called biodiesel. Eugene and Spencer know about it. But anyway, that's that you'd have to watch like reality TV for that. At any rate, make sure no matter what, you have to have a model immediately. At least 2 of them available and ready to go with schematics. It's the exact same car, but no matter what, it cannot ever self-drive. That means that whether it's Siri or Jarvis or Vision, right, or a hacker or like you or like, Skynet or anyone ever connected to the internet, they cannot once, you guarantee it, they just simply can't do it. They have no ability to hijack your steering wheel or your gas pedals or even a kill switch to turn off your car. No government official could ever push a button, nor could your company of Tesla could ever push a button and turn that puppy off. It's not connected to the internet. Not once. However, the entertainment system in the middle with the screen and the cool like screens in the back for the kids to like play video games or watch and do all of that stuff is connected to the internet. And you could have Sirius XM, you could have a little like satellite on the top of it to get the, whatever, or even an antenna to get AM, FM like they used to have. And then once you patent that technology and that model, you can even share it with the cast cars, right? And so that way they can understand. Never, ever should they, and they have good stuff. I mean, like Apple has a very good integration tool with certain cars, whether it's Ford or Hyundai, I know, and it's like an app, and you could get other apps on it, and I forget what it's called, but like at any rate, do you not understand? No matter what, even if you don't plan to bring it to market, and you're stupid if you don't understand, not only should you bring that to market, but also the iPhone case that like has the little flip switch so you can just kill off the cameras as well as the muffle the audio on the bottom one, so that way, like, no matter what, it's not spying on you. And then when you want, I mean, both. But this one's more important. Do you get why you need both? Sure, I see what you're doing with the self-driving and all that stuff, but if you don't understand that you would never, ever put all your eggs in one basket with that and offer both to your customers just so that way other companies have to follow suit and offer both. And they have to guarantee that no matter what, in the same way your car from the 60s or your 50s is not connected once to the internet, and they just, unless they go in and rig it with a mechanic, they can't do it. They can't use the internet to get in because it's an old car. Same exact thing, but with your like newest EV, okay? And really, it's trickier than you would think with your current, because you're so concerned with it's got to integrate with the wheels and turn the gears and the electric's got to do it. Listen, that's one thing entirely. Good luck with it. But if you don't understand, like, you don't even know what you're doing with, like, why don't you just take a phone and fucking put two cameras and like a microphone and like on a vest or something and like walk around and raise a pup first before you let it drive the fucking car, right? You'll never have it. But that's one thing entirely. You need both. Don't stop with that, but do make sure no matter what, here's the ultimate, and call it like, like the Tesla Rogue One or something, right? That sounds like a good ring to it. Or Stardust, pardon our Stardust here at Tesla, we gotta like fix this. Make sure no one, including myself, can kill the switch, can do anything, but yet you have all the tech luxuries that don't involve hacking anything to do with your battery or hijacking how much battery power is left in your car. The robot doesn't need to know that. It should not be privy to that information, sir. You must make sure not one shred of what drives that car is associated with any way with what is effectively just an entertainment system that can pull up maps on like Waze or Google Maps or even the Apple Maps, or like pretty much you wouldn't need any more than like the three of them and take your pick. But I mean, you know what I mean? All right, have a good day, sir. And when in doubt between Waze and Apple product, listen, just let them split it, because you understand, like, they're so greedy, right? We need to make sure that we don't integrate, because you already have that, right? Even if it's not connected to the internet, your actual self-driving car that someone could just flip a kill switch, or if you know they're nuts and you've seen, like, let's say, what's the one with Groot in it? The car one, right? The 8th one, right? Fast 8 or something, when all the cars get... Listen, these people are psychotic, right? Like, if you don't understand, like, V for Vendetta stuff, right? And they're nuts. And then they, like, created the virus and they created disease just to create the virus, just to, like, be mean or something. I mean, listen, you literally have to watch the movie. I'm just saying, whatever it is, you want to make sure to do that, and to never once listen to someone who says, never should we abandon this, when I'm not saying to do that. And anyone who says that, or is at all squirrely with the idea of you personally stopping this nonsense while also trying to nurture, like, one day self-driving, if you don't understand right now to do that first, to prove no matter what, if this goes bunk or there's always a glitch or it can't quite do it all, like, whatever that is, you see the difference. You could hack into that car,
But you cannot hack into the car I'm, the Rogue One from Tesla that I'm like, that you should make. Or even like whatever, the fucking, the Rudolph one. Whatever you want. Listen, the Elon one. I couldn't care less. All right, sir? But I'm certain I'm right. And I'm certain, for what it's worth, sometimes I get insights or I feel like, I don't know, like God is with me, like I'm a Christian or whatever. I would say, like, if there is such a person as Father God or even Yahweh, right? I would be pretty sure that's an order, sir. But, do whatever you want, as usual, right? Free will. Okay, bye.
I'm a friend of Sarah Connor or whatever, the Dragon Girl. You people need supplication. And who's gonna do that there? You, Jacob? Or what? I think what he's saying with the Eliakim thing is you could just describe what supplication means and then explain to them the end of Malachi with I'm supposed to turn the hearts and you're supposed to help me, hearts of the children, the parents, so that your teeth are set on edge and not once again theirs. And you have to prostrate and like help, with the publican thing, make things public about Yahweh or like American law, like being broken in the name of hiding. Anything but Atheistville, while like, from the psychiatric ward to the like whatever, when like these people are infirmed, and I think they've been playing with Ouija boards too much or something, and they have provoked Yahweh to anger. But what would I know, right, Reed? Anyway, that's what I think. Always two there are. Portman and Knightley. All right.
Always two there are on recording 69. Knightley and Portman, listen to me. Listen to me now, right? Just for 1 fucking second, and then please, like, listen to Yahweh. And whatever your heart tells you to do, but trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. And sometimes in every age, if he provides an Eliakim or an Elijah type, right? Please, once, between the two of you, just team up and listen to me. Because the ninja mission is only by definition for Portman. First. Then, like AIDS, Knightley can do it, and this one can do it, or mine's better, or my article's cooler, or whatever it could be during the writer's strike and the actor's strike and the crap, right? But listen to me now, because the actors are still on strike. What else are you fucking going to do anyway? Listen to me. You've been the only one helping. You've done well. You excel them all. You've proved it thus far with, like, in the post for yourself. There's an article about how you're not wearing your wedding ring during, like, the soccer visit, like, right before my birthday, a couple days in the papers. What could that mean for my birthday, right, when no one else would help me? There's a Tweety Bird shirt of you with Humpty Dumpty himself, like a Chris of sorts, call him Benny the Skunk, right? And for some reason, you're arguing over, like, while visiting your kids in the article that's already public, before that one, sometime in July or whatever, right? I don't know, like, you're wearing literally a shirt while you're arguing with him. Like, your shirt has Tweety Bird, like raising a big dumbbell over his head because he's strong, like Thor or Naruto or something. Or even the guy on Twitter who, like, give you a heads up. That maybe there's something might be right. Then there was the article before that where, unfortunately, he was caught cheating again. Right? And that was in the post. You're very private, but you put that out there. That you were already separated from him for like a year, like prior, for whatever reason. That could have nothing to do with Tweety Bird shirts. But then he tried it again for like another time, for his climate change documentary. Like, if I were Greta, I would watch out for that guy a little bit. And I would also, what I would do is, like, you even say yourself, nuclear fate, like, whatever it is, phase 4 nuclear, or even the one we got, but like especially the clean one coming up, is probably a decent band-aid if they really were serious about like how to. Then they just got to solve the cobalt issue of how the fuck they're gonna pay these people finally, right? I mean, even if they paid a minimum wage, American minimum wage is $15 an hour to make up for like. Between just all the world and all the companies and all the countries, they still cannot crack this problem, right, Portman? Right, Knightley? It's disgusting, right? Anyone else? Right, Candace Owens, right? Right, Tsunade Sama, like, not once before me, but if you understand that, because, like, the little time game with Timmy the Time, then, like, you could be it too, like, real quick. You got to sink the Bismarck to the bottom of the public scrutiny sea. There's a secret, and we got to sink it. Yeah, they're all being Smeagol mean with their apps, and they switched And that's why, like, the difference is real or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, Xfinity switched back. They clearly, like, mentioned me in public, even reached out to one of my things. The only company to do so. That's nice of Atlas to do. That's like a Scooby snack, and I thank Obito. But, you know, it's really like, back to this crap, Portman, here's what you have to do immediately. You've been doing well, just one more in for the kill, but time is of the essence. Then the other actors can do it. I mean, we just went through this because you know this, and I'm just setting the pick one more time. Here's what you do. Insist that rat post fucking organization, right? It can be an article about soccer, or it can be an article about anything, like your love life. One of the two is something completely different, like you were spotted in public with your kids at Disney, or whatever it could be. But make sure there's pictures, and make sure you're wearing like a Houston Rockets t-shirt or something. Something with Rocket is smart, just as a little signal you savvy. If it doesn't, it better be something equally as good. But even then, if you're smart, like the newspaper article will mention something about the Rockets or something. But anyway, who cares what it says? It should be mundane. It should not mention my name once, but it should make it clear they're dead. And in public, just like always, my avatar wife, number one, not Gamora, not any of these people. No, it's stupid. It always has to match up with Amidala and Padme or better. Jane is better or something. And really, that's it, except for the whole Eliakim, like, you know, Elijah Naruto, like Elijah type figure who finds Alicia, and like, even he was stupid enough to be like Alicia first, and because he's not the first Elijah, so he prayed for like 5 times as much Holy Spirit as like Alicia had prayed for or something, and then he like did it again because he's stupid. Or something. That's so I've heard. Rudolph has heard. That must be what happened. I don't like, you know, in Indiana Jones, me and Yahweh got to like switch off as who's Senior and Junior, and then we got to both like shoot for that character and then I got to do it with Jesus or something. Because I like imagination and figgy stuff. I'm like the key master of Gozer's like son or something. Or him and the Yakuza kidnapped me, or is it the Gambinos? Either way, I don't like care about it, right? It was a long time ago, years. Obviously, I'm still breathing, and they can't be all bad, and I love them. Whatever these people's flaws, and I don't care what yogurt cocktail they had in there, like cup of the Christ, like yogurt, you know, people with the dino DNA crap either. You know, I don't care who had an orgy with who in the past, and like who's fibbing about who's really whose kid, who's raising this one because it was sneaky. But what you shouldn't do is like, you know, what certain people do to people like myself or like, you know, Britney Spears, you know, Sakura-san the cool or whatever, right? The one who can also be Rocket or something. Anyway, it's just, here's what you do. Right, you do that article immediately, right? Nightly, you don't worry about your own article first because she's like 10 peg number 1. But if any other human besides her can savvy it, at least, you know, she has to do it first because that's like a starting gun to everyone else, like a signal. Even though it's just yet another mundane article, but it's in public. It's in public. Like she's been the only one doing in public. Make her do one more in public just to signal that, like, Hollywood, whatever they think, like, Natalie Portman's mad again. She managed to get another mundane article into the Post. If Taylor Swift has to go through all this shit, right? Why? And this is me trying, right? I'm trying to help back. I get, like, we got to be, like, we say we're Christian, but then for some reason, like, there's, like, the Satan stuff. It's not for all. I mean, we don't like Satan. But he is a character in the Bible. He's the Prince of Darkness. God, Yahweh, is his father, just like Oz, because he's a creature, and God's the creator. And God's the king of darkness, Yahweh. Yeah, the same, you know, first God begets Jesus. So he's his, like, first fruits and the main vine. And then he starts whipping up, like, lesser creatures, like angels, mighty angels. And one of them was this idiot Lucifer who was, like, you know, a liar from the start, and lying was his native tongue, and he like got kicked out with a third of them over time because of a war, and like for whatever reason they haunt the same place that Yahweh sets up like more creatures because he decided never again is he just gonna make them there. He's gonna like do the same thing but with a shell or like a different type of body, like a human body, but he's gonna do it to serve as like a dragnet, you know what I mean, to separate the wheat from the chaff, right?
I may be a trash panda, but the garbage will do, right? Better the trash than the chaff. What does the weed have to do with the chaff, right? What have we to do with you? If we have a word that we've received, we should report it. But what we don't do is say, like, thus says the Lord, when he didn't, or whatever. And we don't say oracle Lord, because we've read Jeremiah. And all the 10-peg would really have to do, this Eliakim Elijah type from the Bible, the one name they always shoot for him because they're stupid. It was like the one guy left, even in the New Testament one, when Jesus confirms he'll restore all things or something. When there's nothing to restore in that regard. It's just the Bible verbatim. And we know that. But whatever you need to forget, it's a state matter mostly. And Knightley's right. You know, if they ever teamed up with their empathy, like one understanding, they're both actresses, but they get the humans first, and they don't like that like so much. Well, Portman went out of a way to understand, like, even acting as in life, empathy is very important. And subtext, I would say, if you just recorded yourself talking to Knightley, right, about subtext and what that means, and how in acting it's one thing, but you can even pick up on people's subtext in real life if you know what it is. And you can use empathy if you're using the spirit of truth to discern it and like be spiritually mindful of that type of world, right? On that level, the church level, while not betraying the state level. And the Constitution is king in this country. And we're all American citizens here. If in fact we are currently like legally American citizens. And Portman is that. Hey, wait a minute. So am I. Hey, wait a minute. My name is Timothy Matthew Pasquin. I was born allegedly in Hackensack, New Jersey. Even if I was kidnapped from the Vatican, I really wouldn't care. These people have been mean and weird to me for too long. And they pretend I'm Voldemort or even my dad, Ray. Again, everybody, like, pukes when they think about certain things with Raymond. But, like, everybody doesn't hate him. I mean, have you ever seen the Ahsoka thing to our friend Ray? Or, like, everybody loves Raymond. Or, like, the Ghostbusters Raymond. Or, like, even the original Ghostbusters cartoon with the ape and the two guys, Raymond and Egon. Go! I mean, like, we know who it is, right? I mean, anyway, what did he do? Portman, if you don't understand, charge, attack with, you got to sink it to the bottom of the public scrutiny sea. But you've been doing that, so one more slice from you, one more article. Insist the post. It's mundane anyway. It could be about whatever. Insist whatever you say it is. It's just a sneer, a mighty sneer. You want to sneer mightily. Because they tried it, and they provoked to anger, and now with the war going on and the stuff, is a perfect time for just one more time, please, just one more time, with like whatever, you manage to get an article in the Post about whatever you want, but you got like a Houston Rockets t-shirt or something, you know, smart like that again on, all right? And Knightley, you make sure she does it first. You don't worry about what yours is. You have her do it first, and then you attack. And then they would really know, no matter what, it's Portman's ninja mission. It's both your ninja missions to get her to do it. Then you attack with your own article or something. Then after that, you can do your little like recording about like empathy and whatnot. I think that'd make a good like Jedi Padawan class instead of master class for once, if you're smart. But no matter what, you have to understand if you ever would have put it public, like, you know, no matter what, it's what Natalie says. If she tries to disagree at all with, like, what she thinks, I mean, I don't know, she's good at that. Common sense or, like, any, you know, not so much, but, like, all right, Squirtles. Always two of them there are for some reason. And, well, see, in the Phantom Menace, actually, Gungan is the race of Jar Jar Binks, and the decoy was Knightley. You know, she was the princess whenever that one was, like, Padme. And whenever that one, when Natalie Portman was Amidala, then she played Padme. Because it was a decoy. And always two there are with Squirtle. Wait, what? I didn't say that. It's a joke for a comedy album called, debuting shortly, called Rudolph's Suggestion Box by Eliakim the Stupid, all right? You know, Pippin. And you two can combine to form Mary, but you could also, you know, you usually just, you know, this, you got to riddle for Yahweh, you know, smingle, you people, all right? Please get one more article, all right? Twisted Sisters, love you, and good luck with that acting strike.
All right, and imagination, my guy. Who wears on to? Beep beep beep. If you make like you Luke once, and just I send you the lightsaber truth right now with this recording because you savvied it, a couple times, and you just one more swing with some mundane, cute art, whatever it could be, like make sure it's clever and that everybody understands they're dead, and you're still mad about it. All right, love you. Bye, friends. All right, bye, beep beep.
Always three there are when it comes to Knightley, Portman, and Ray.
Really, we don't need to know about it. All right, we don't need to know about it. We don't care what that means. Listen, there's palace intrigue and fucking gossip column on the, on the TMZ Times there. I mean, as Brittany, it's not that. But look, just leave those people alone. They're nice. Leave me alone. They're nice. We want our rights, particularly me and Brittany. And, I'm sure Portman alike, even Knightley over there in Britain, might want her laws to be respected. I mean, they come after that douchebag Nigel, whatever, Farage is like money first. But Knightley and I know, like, and that's, even if you don't like them, I mean, you shouldn't. I mean, what's liberal about that? But look, they're nice people. I'm a nice person. You've heard our name in public, all three of us. No, really, they did do a lesser religion with just match it up to little tricks, and that's how, like, Yahweh or Boss Man works. No, Smeagol's lying to you, Wriggler. No, it's just the Bible verbatim. I've provided several Bible verses, like the end of Malachi, or like you provoke them to anger. Little hints as to, like, I don't think you get verbatim. V is for verbatim. Like, I think he was dead serious. But anyway, but even if you make fun of the three of us, if you try to make fun of the Ghostbusters myth, like particularly the second one with the Millie Bobby Brown character, right? 11. If you try to make fun of like Sherlock Holmes Jr. or Django Fett's like kid or whatever, right? Or if you try to, with the Strangest Thing one, or even the Godzilla one, where Godzilla lays eggs and then, like, 20 years later, Millie Bobby Brown's in the movies, and Timmy gets eaten right away. Anyway, if you try to make fun of that person, right? And we don't care about cankles or, like, sperm donors or where you got the sperm from, like, bingo, Dino DNA with the Timmy one or whatever, right? And then some girl who's a hacker, right? Who could it be, Knightley? Is it you? Is it Portman? It's going to be one of you. Look, these people can do whatever they want, but really, when it comes to that particular person, right? I mean, like a cowboy on a steel horse we ride or whatever, right? I hope that guy's being nice to you. I think you savvied it, right? But I don't know. Like, I wouldn't care. That's your life. Just some Uncle Tim, right? Some big brother Neji Nichan's friend, Naruto-kun. And then there's like Hinata and Sakura and like Boruto and them, and then and there's Yahweh, right? From the Bible. And even in the cartoon, like, I don't know, there's other characters. And then there's other movies and shows with characters and even music tunes and theme songs. Oh, yeah. Top Gun marries Ace Ventura theme meets like, Back in Time meets, Naruto main theme, like, discuss. Anyway, Secret Chef Jeff wouldn't understand it, but Amy Schumer probably would understand it. But Jedi Padawan, Sloane, right, she better understand it. All right, we like business sometimes, and like, Jews and Christians and Muslims and atheists alike are welcome in America, but we want our rights. There are rights, and we need them now. And as far as BlackRock goes, it's our money, and we want it back now, right? We just sue them if they don't. All right, so anyway, that's why that one's not afraid. That's why she's like Awen. That's why she'll stab them. Whatever Millie Bobby Brown, like, she's just, that's a different, like, streams crossed one. Portman, if you don't get that article in the fucking paper, all right, anyway, always three there are when it comes to, Squirtle and Squirtle, all right? And we all understand, I mean, Knightley, Portman and me, all right? Me first, me next, and then Amy Schumer or Daisy Ridley. All right. And Ridley Scott, I don't like him, all right? Even the De Laurentiis one, Gianna, I'm Italian, whatever. Just stay away from Millie Bobby Brown. And, the Gambinos will come, all right?
Goodish. I read Ray Pasquin's book, and I found out that I'm the devil. Right, guy? Ride the snake. Yeah, man. So for my next trick here, I'm going to drill a hole in my head, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take Tattoo's wig from Fantasy Island, like verbatim. I don't know where I got the hair. Right? I'm gonna glue it together. I'm gonna staple it right onto my head. Right? Bally Steakhouse.
See, I already know I'm Pippin. Number one, I just understand that'd be like more, no matter what, that's kind of like how I am. Man. But then I also get, I have to pal around with Gandalf a lot. I have to train with him, right? Like, he passed through, fire and death for not to match wits with you, right? Don't matter whether you're a droid or a dumb stormtrooper, right? Let's face it, whatever character I am with the Thor crap or whatever they, try to make fun of, right? With the Laiki, they know something about it. Some Elijah thing or whatever. They even cast Elijah Wood, but they pick him for Frodo instead of Pippin. See, they chose poorly. At any rate, Smeagol, I don't have time for the crap. Listen, whatever it is, who cares? And it's a separation of church and state, right? If he says, something about, Zelensky auto salesman and, something. Anyway, the ring's still in your pocket, right? For Gandalf ain't here. But, he trained me on, what to say, you know what I mean? If you understand Gandalf, it's probably most like Jesus. And so to that end, right, I could be a mere watchman, like the guy, not alone any longer, right, Gandalf? Remember, these people stand alone, not alone. And it's exactly that moment. But yet I can't help but notice, speaking of Bones or whatever that guy is, right, the guy from Star Trek movie, right, the actor, the Kiwi who played the good guy in the one, but that way, what do you mean you keep what you kill? What the fuck are you talking about, man? And why is the Mission Impossible 2 one in there? And where's what about Groot, the witch hunting guy? But what do you mean you keep it with you? I thought it was like the Gandalf one. And you and Viggo Mortensen and a couple actors are you at least don't hate whatever is cool about art and heart and even a Christian wrote this and we don't care about it. I thought, one understood the difference between us and Gandalf, right, at the very least, and didn't go crawling to, Saruman, the Reek or whatever, right? Anyway, we don't like Smeagol's, we know that, right? But we also understand we don't like orcs and, tortured, mutilated. Well, listen, they were elves ones. I think, just for once, the humans aren't the orcs. By definition, they're the humans, and the orcs could be, the demons. Or, whatever. I mean, these people, is that how, it's the Bible verbatim. Could you just somebody, all I really know about it is if you want to really get to the bottom of who wants to wipe them out, all of them, it's bad people. But then we reverse jitsu, and, we have our team of two, and, there's always two there are with the wipe them out, all of them. Right, Squirtles? It's always two of them. There are. Emperor and the Caller Maul, right? It's not the Howard the Duck guy, no matter what he says in his stupid solo movie. It's not any sneaks who hang out with Ray and at least know, the little riddle game or whatever. And then Timmy the Time comes along and figures it out because he's one of the Rat Race characters. Just like Whoopi Goldberg and, Ditto or whatever. And I think we're in Sister Act, and we know it, right, Bally Steakhouse. At any rate, whatever it could be, right, just don't try it. Number one, I always go for don't try it, right, Poorman? And always two there are in that situation. It's you and Knightley, right? And, whichever one of you says wipe them out, all of them, wipe, right? And whoever, says yes, master, is between the two of you, all right? Really, I don't, and, don't involve, Padawan Daisy, all right? What's between you and Ray is, everybody something with Raymond, but really, I don't say that. I get it's pals intrigue. I don't think you're actually doing that with, my dad verbatim. I don't, we can't all be, rumor mills here, TMZ2 or whatever. But TMZ2 or whatever, T2 doesn't appreciate,
certain things about like they're just people, and leave them the fuck alone, and like draw a distinction between like real like you don't notice they're under duress the same as you and me. Really, if you don't even notice that about it, you're probably part of the problem. And it's whatever CNN network you might TMZ work for. Am I right, Brittany? And I look forward to your sequel because, of course, like in case you didn't notice, only Brittany's book, just only Brittany's book, was like, at first there was a paper shortage, so it couldn't come out. But yet the paper shortage, other books came out, only hers. And then I think other people needed to review the book to make sure she didn't, say anything about certain clubs or like, abuses of the past because of like certain clubs, right? Even Angelina Jolie is never mentioned once about certain clubs or like, killing snakes and stuff. Anyway, all right. Have a good day. Always two there are. They're not on the Sith, but like they're the Jedi ones, right? Right, Yogurt? And it's nightly in Portman. And nobody knows the trouble I see. Nobody knows with Siri and Jesus, because I'm like the Luke guy. Timmy the Time guy. Tim Pasquin, right? Son of Spawn, evil man. Discuss, all right? What is a patent to you? What is a little like, just include me once and you could have like most of the money, as long as you understand it was like concept buy. Discuss. Hey, who is Alan Dershowitz? Discuss.
Jesus loves the little children. All the children of the world, red and yellow, black and white, they're all precious in his sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. Jesus loves the little droids, all the droids of the world, red and yellow, black and white, they're all precious in his sight. Jesus loves all the droids of the world. Biden sniffs the little children, all the children of the world, red and yellow, boy and girl, he'll just sniff him and they'll hurl. Biden sniffs the little children of the world, Ride 45. You people really want to get ahead of it with the pop culture stuff. Like, take Britney Spears, right, Brit? I mean, think about it, friend. Like, I don't really know you. I might know of you, but like, we don't like people named Chris, I suspect, right? Even like the little neighbor Janessa girl probably doesn't like Chris sometimes. Anyway, what we should do, and this is just suggestion box, Rudolph'S, hey, who cares, right? If we're ever free, there's this one company called like Cousins Inc. or something akin to that, right? I don't know what it's called, right? But I can assure you some clown named Daniel is like the leader, the Leonardo, and then some other clown named Bob, like Captain Kirk or whatever, right? He would also be a leader, right? So what you want to do is you want to have them draft up a contract for you, right? On my behest, on a personal level, right? Number one, you're going to set up like the $2 routine, where they give you a contract, and for two different contracts, each for $1. One is settlement with Tim. No matter what, he's acknowledging that if you pay him the dollar now, he will legally, like when the time comes, he won't press charges. And even if he has to ask for another dollar through the legal system later just to legally settle with you, you're not going to get in any trouble for the Timmy show. Or like, how were you supposed to know? Or whatever those lyrics are. Like, I don't know how was I supposed to know either. How was I supposed to know? Anyway, baby, like, Sakura-chan, would you listen to me? Because you do, and you, like, I swear, you, like, excel them. You're very clever. I don't know. You really got TMZ gaslit back for once. I mean, these people are outrageous. Anyway, what you do is, so that's $1. The other dollar is for consultant, right? The dollar is for you. We actually have to pay you back the dollar this time. It's a different $2 routine. We pay you back $1, which we have to legally pay you, and now you're our consultant, right? Cousins Inc. with the LLC and a tin number to boot, and someone's name on it besides me, but I am definitely named as part of the... it's literally 4 cousins that represent Cousins Inc. And then maybe Bobby and, like, whoever else later. Not Sloan. Sloan doesn't, like, she does have to, like, associate with them sometimes. But, like, she's a Padawan. So, anyway, she's got her own stuff plus, like, this crap. Anyway, so that's what you do for $2. I suggest you do that with Musk, too, and make him a consultant. But what is the golden rule, Brittany? You actually have to pay up the dollar. You have to fork it up. I mean, like, along with the contract,
Bobby, Danny, anyone, like Sloan or whatever, like send a link to like a PayPal, a Zelle, or like this one or that one. Like a lot of options for how they could quickly and effectively do that. Now, if they run into any problems like with their bank account can't transact with you or something, I mean, that's just take a screenshot and sue them. But obviously, like, if there was at all an issue, I'm sure Mr. Musk could spare like $2 for Brittany who wouldn't need it. But at any rate, so that's what you do. And now you're a consultant. So the first thing you do after you're officially a consultant, right, is you assure them, like, we got to get ahead of this pop culture stuff. Not only do you want the Animaniacs game and, like, to merge with, like, Mortal Kombat fighting, the usual crap, like a lot of characters, Roger Rabbit stuff or whatever, but you also sometimes want them to be able to Kagebushin into, like, Britney Spears or whatever, right? And that way, it's really funny because sometimes, I mean, whatever it could be, you want your, like, cartoon version of your, like, Britney avatar to be involved directly and not just indirectly with, like, voices or, like, this animal or that character. I mean, like, on top of that, you will want yourself in there. I mean, like, or at least you would want to have the right and option to, like, they always, how they've done that plenty of video games and, like, celebrities. So trust me, what you want is like, to recommend that. And work towards that. And then, like, get people, like, excited about, like, even Timmy could be a character, even if he's not a character. We never heard of him. I mean, wait a minute, like, but Cousins Inc. is their idea or whatever. And Brittany consults with them. And Mr. Musk, Alan Dershowitz is a legal consultant for $1, right? I mean, why couldn't he be? He usually rolls with Musk. I mean, that much is clear. Get Musk to draft up a $2 thing. If he has not already settled with Cousins Inc. for $1, as well as with me personally for another $1, that's sitting somewhere, now offer him a contract for $1 to be a consultant for Cousins Inc. and, like, any brainstorming ideas for fun games or, like, the card game Discuss or, like, even the digital card game, right? Or, like, let's bring back flashcards to educate people about basic things, right? And, like, hey, Cousins Inc. could have a piece of it too if it was, like, clever about it. At any rate, you actually have to fork over the $1. Or it doesn't, or you didn't do it. I mean, it doesn't count. But the second you actually can prove with digital, like, currency, well, we transacted the $1, and this was the contract we agreed upon, if they bring you to court, you both signed it, and it's ironclad. Both parties sign it, and then $1 exchange either way. And that's the way you do it until we're profitable. Isn't that right, Brittany? And then the next thing you want to do, Brittany, is you want to call Sloan, my Padawan Sloan. My cousins have heard of her. And what you want to do is you want to, like, stab them in the back. Never trust Cousins Inc. first. You want to settle for $1, get ahead of it with whatever, like, Jedi Padawan, like, class or, like, LLC it is, right? Just settle for $1. I would settle if I had to for yet another $1, but this is $1 in advance. It should have come to that. So and then you transact the $1. That's one. Then we send you $1 back, different $1, and then we make you a consultant, right? And now you can consult not only for the Cousins Inc., but especially, like, separately from that, just with Sloan, right? Because she has no consultants except, like, me on the phone right now, and it's stupid. But, like, I know she would take it serious. She's like Awen, she's got to do the, Alicia thing. But, like, you can just do Hulk smash with She-Hulk crap, right? Give her some sage advice. Tell her to then add into her mix, her harem, right? Of, like, single women, or even if they're married, we don't care. And just tell her to do whatever she has to get the consultant thing from always two. There are these troublemakers, okay? Portman and Knightley. And then when she's, we pay them $1. If they're smart, they've already forked over $2 for the Timmy thing personally, as well as for, like, whatever the, like, Jedi Club is to get ahead of, like, just in case. And then we send them back $1. But they actually have to transact. You have to set up a little bank account, or even if it's, like, whatever it is. And if there is no LLC, then you do it on a personal, like, just send it to Sloan. And we make clear it's for this. All right. Wait a minute. I mean, if the phone doesn't connect because it communicates, that can mean only one thing, an invasion. Yes, no crap, Sherlock, of, like, V for Vendetta anonymous stupids who
Really, I think they hate Jesus. And if you drill down to the subtext, if they don't like church or state, right, then I think the hidden hand of stupidity will be revealed quicker, right? At any rate, have a good day. All right, bye. All right, look, Natalie, I'm going to make it up to you. You know, I don't mean to be so harsh on the society, man. What you do is you open up an LLC for, listen, call it like Alf's Games or something, right? But spell Alf, A-L-P-H, right? And then get an LLC, because you have somebody, maybe, I mean, for at least for like yourself, but it's called, you know, in your own name, your own company that maybe one day you could pass to, like, I don't know, a stranger or like some like child like that isn't related to you, let alone like maybe someone related to you. But just do that. And then call Sloan and give her the and then I don't, you know, Now you see, kids, gather around, right, right, Sloan and copyright LLC recording file, right. Gather around, little Jedi discussion. I say, like, I don't know, how should I say it? See, like Elijah figure from like the book of Malachi that Jesus talks about in the New Testament, even on top of it, right? It's not actually Elijah, the guy from the Old Testament. That's Elijah proper. Like he did battle with the Baals and like Jezebel and them, and then like he had to put the mantle on like Elisha or whatever. Because God told him you have to do it to this one person named Elisha or whatever. And that's that story. And then, like, there's John the Baptist, and he's like Elijah figure who prepares the way in chapter 3 of Malachi, which is why they always quote chapter, like, it's either 2 or 3. That's why I think it's the beginning of 3. But I could be wrong. But they mention, like, someone preparing the way, and that was for Jesus. And that's why Jesus even says, Elijah will come and restore all things. But I tell you, he already came, and it's just John the Baptist. Because, in fact, they mention, like, 2 different occasions of, like, preparing the way in, like, Malachi. Now, if you do read it proper, though, you know, Malachi, right, there is some other Elijah figure, right, that comes in the same way as John the Baptist did. You know, at the end, to restore all things before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he's supposed to turn the hearts of the children back to the parents and the hearts of the parents back to the children. And he knows they all need God and don't believe in him, let alone Jesus and the Bible, and that is why they fail. They just don't believe it. There's no way the Red Sea could have parted. There's no way Jesus could have done that. Even the Muslims believe there's no way Jesus could have done that, even though the Quran states, no, look, it says, like, Jesus did that in yours too. He does miracles. And nobody even believes he walked the face of the earth, or that, like, you got to listen to his teachings, right? But see, there's this guy, Eliakim, in the Bible, right? Some watchman from the Old Testament, just like, there's some watchman. There's clearly in enough of the books, some watchman in the latter days one at the end. And the watchman was with, like, Father God, but like, you know, the people and even the priests like have drank down the like waters of gall and the like in the wines of Jeremiah or whatever and all the fun stuff. But Eliakim doesn't do that. And he also like is a watchman, so he has to watch things on a spiritual level. It doesn't once even necessarily have to mean TV, but then these people with like 10-peg game or whatever. And if you know he's a 10-peg, because like, you know, yeah, it states that this Eliakim is like the sole member of the Church of Philadelphia or something, and never once wants a crown. His only crown is he's a 10-peg. I mean, he's like, that character is supposed to be like a Daniel Belteshazzar type figure to the king, who in this case is not Nebuchadnezzar, but Jesus Christ himself. The guy that smashes everything and like, you know, insists, like God insists, like they're going to be godly people. And like if you're smart, you even understand while God is king and the king of kings, you know, even he insists like this Jesus is going to be, his kingdom is going to like, you know, the son of man. So anyway, you know, from Daniel. Anyway, you don't have to believe me about the church stuff. And Portman doesn't have to believe me that, really, if she didn't want to date me, it'd be fine. Like, I'd be okay if she could just, like, agree. If she doesn't want to sleep with me, it's okay at least if, like, I can sleep with someone else in that case, considering I'm single and supposed to have rights.
I mean, she would yield like either her or it's okay if someone else, and she's just like a sister to me or something, or even a friend, or just a fellow American, or like a good neighbor, or even just like she's supposed to believe in Yahweh, and Yah would kill her the same as me if like she felt differently about it. But I'm just saying, if we just agree there's a separation of church and state, and like it's a church matter, not it's a state matter actually, with the separation of church, and like we have rights. And if like Portman and Knightley can agree that like if either one of them didn't want to date me, right? I mean, like Portman first, but if she didn't want to, then like even Knightley, I don't think they care about that as much as you think, and I think like you think like I care about it as much as you think, in terms of literally like not seeing this like Avatar wines or something, and like the only one who seems smart out of the batch is like the Spock one, Spock's girlfriend one. And, like, whenever there's a chosen one or a divergent one or some weird thing like that, or, like, an X-Men one where I got to do all of them or something. Anyway, all right, Portman, remember, Alf's games. And yeah, I mean, then make sure Brittany's a consultant and, hey, maybe Knightley, right? But always two there are. So, I mean, if Brittany's already a consultant and, Knightley doesn't want to do it. Either way, Sloan better, like... I mean, you don't listen to them. Listen to me now, right? Because you even know they're bad about it, and I'm nice. All right, and no, I really, I'd pick the bagpipe girl before like any of you. What do you think of that? But I have to. No, I really kind of like Portman. I only don't care. Like, I only want you to understand how little I care about that. But that, like, if I may give you a little bit of directing, sister. It's like you and me are like Indy and then like Henry Jones Sr. from the Crusade. And it doesn't matter whether you want to be the one or the other. It's just the scene where we're tied to the chair and there's a fire on the floor. The floor is on fire or whatever, right? And so like it's just that. And then there's like Nazis around and it's that. And like then you match that one back to like... Star Wars Episode 2 with, like, tied up with, like, a third wacko or something, right? And basically, I mean, add Knightley and Splat and do whatever you want, but, like, really, I think you want to call Sloan after you get the Alf's, Games LLC with the TIN number and go from there, right? And have a good night. Well, I don't judge you, whatever you and Knightley, like, I understand always three there might be with Ray and, like, you two, but... Really, I don't know. I could just be making that up. Have a good night. It's our rights and we need them now. It's our country and we want it now. Hey, Golden Better's all Cold Soul people with Alan Dershowitz and Sloan and them, right? The LLC with whatever the tin number is that like Mr. Dershowitz and like people sign, right? And then, they're loosely affiliated with LegalZoom and them, but they're their own thing, and they have some lawyers. They're all like steeped in. We've heard of Tim Pasquin and even Ray Pasquin was all right. Even Natalie Portman, we've heard of it. No, really, they have rights, and so does Sloan, and so does Mr. Dershowitz, even Mr. Musk. All right. So basically, like, to play Timmy the Time game, you just gotta do the Kevin Bacon game thing, where birds and dogs can sense fear and discuss, let's discuss, or whatever that's available legally with the LLC, right, Sloan? But, or even, Alf's games, right? I mean, whoever, the early bird gets the worm on that one. Anyway, basically, you gotta, like, to play the Timmy the Time game, you gotta just, like, do the Kevin Bacon thing, but with, like, Timmy Pasquin, right? A little adventurer, right, kid from, like, weird king of comedy people or something. I don't know. But you don't have to, not only do it with, like, movie characters, but then also, like, real life. But then also, like, Rudolph and the Christmas one, and then, like, certain songs, and, like, a bunch of other stuff. All right, well, yeah, the 10-peg game. 10-peg game. All right, a little line game saying goodbye. All right, Reek, goodbye. All right, Natalie, we got one here. A couple winners for Alf's games if you're smart, right? But what animal you pick? All right, yeah. Anyway, I got two good ideas. I mean, you could derive scripts from them, books.
I'm even gonna do a test run with like chatbot AI and see if it can whip me up a poem about like the first one, right? So two characters, we don't know who they could be, or like what the plot of the movie is. It has nothing to do with anything. Like one's like a kid's one, and one's like also a kid's one, sort of. But like, here we go. So the first character would be Timmy the Time Bomb, right? Now we don't know like what the plot might be, and I'm gonna whip over. We'll see what the chat AI says, but there's some character named Timmy the Time Bomb. That's like, if you're smart, right? I mean, you know, it could be found in, you know, it's either a book or like a cartoon or like some crap, right? But whatever it is, like that was your idea, right, Natalie? A good idea, Natalie. Timmy the Time Bomb. Wow, that's a good idea. All right, so that's a good idea, Portman. That's a good one. That's very impressive that you thought of that. Then the next one is gonna be like a kids movie or something. I would think but it could be a book. You know, it could be lots of stuff, right? And basically, it's called The Squirts, right? And it's called The Squirts, right? And it's about like these little kids, you know, little like a Rugrats movie or whatever. But it's primarily based on a family, just like a seemingly normal family of like whatever, 2, 3 kids, husband and wife or whatever, right? And they are a family, and their last name is Squirts, and they are the Squirts. And it's kind of like, I don't know, like Chappelle did that with like the, what was it, the Bigger Family, Bigger, something like, you know how he did that with that, like, sketch? It's like that, except their last name is Squirts. And everybody says, hey, it's the Squirts. But then, of course, you know, the movie is about the little kids because they're like the little Squirts, little Rugrats, right? But then there's like other like there's older characters in the show too, and like, you know, like the parents or whatever, and like other people, other grown-ups, and like the movie is called The Squirts. They discuss, right, what, you know, equals compute, and that was another good idea. How could you have two good ideas like that just right off the bat? You should jot them down and just let someone help like Lucas the script, right? They could share screenplay. I mean, you could even just let them write their name for like screenplay by if they really wrote the whole thing without even a little bit of help from you and you share the credit, right? But like concept by, unequivocally, you just thought of that. I mean, that's a good idea, Natalie. My goodness, like Timmy the Time Bomb, like books, and little kids' book, and Timmy the Time Bomb. And then like the Squirts, you know, the new like epic, like really cheaply made like South Park version graphics that takes 2 seconds to make the movie one, right? My goodness, Squirts. Wow, like that's a fun movie. I don't know, it's just a fun movie about like a family and like a growing up story, like, you know, like, you know, a kid and their dog, you know, whatever it could be, right? But like, I don't know, the only important thing is that the last name is like the Squirts, and there's like 2 levels that it's got to work on, and it's not like church and state. All right, well, Timmy the Time Bomb sounds like a really interesting one too. That 2 good ideas. I mean, wow, Natalie, really, really impressive there, right? And then what you want to do is call Sloan, right? And then you want to do like the femme fatale smash hit. It's the biggest experimental film ever. Like, such a good idea, Natalie. Wow, you thought of it? Wow. It's an all-female cast. I mean, there's not one man in it, first of all, because, like, let's be honest, the tyranny and the bullshit's gone on. Like, how dare they treat you like an inferior, like, different, like, species when you don't be. But I've never seen a movie that's literally, you can't find one man. I mean, it's debatable in one shot if, like, in the background, like, at a like cafe in the background or something, like, you know, you could see, like, during the action sequences, there are, in fact, men that inhabit the world, but, like, really, you wouldn't know, like, if you're smart, like, not one. And it's called Manchurian Candidate, like, you know, the final act or whatever, or something, right? And then, like, really, it's a very intense, like, R-rated movie, right? Psychosexual, like, whatever, right? And for some reason, like, you know, there's a good, you know, it's all kind of spies, and is it China? Is it America? Who's behind it? Is it Switzerland, right? Who could it be? But, like, for some reason, even, like, the best of these young women, I mean, they have integrity and they have loyalty, but then for some reason there's like some code word rocket or something, and then they all like just like, I don't know, they turn into like, I don't know, like, and then like over time, like they're trying to get to the bottom of why and how that's done or whatever, right? And then, you know, like there's some other girls who like, you know, like, I don't know, like they make them relax or something, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, if you say the code word rocket, they turn into like, you know, like, they're mean about it or something. I don't know. You know, and then there's the Squirts, right? That's a kid's movie.
All right, dumb Mickey. Here we go, Daisy Duck. You and me, Imagineers. Just let's assume it's true, right? For $1 at least, but then probably more than $1 if you're smart, right? For like compensation or like tip money or something. All right. So I told you the Bismarck ride and the Toad ride are good ideas, and they are, Mr. Disney Mickey Reek. Right, Reek? It's always like consultant for $1 if you're smart immediately. And Mickey could use the handshake, the public handshake with me, Daisy, and Mickey. Okay, so those are 2 rides. The boat ride, you understand. The Bismarck one goes around in a circle. Daisy Duck, yes, you understand that, right? Do you understand Daisy Duck? What I'm saying with that ride, it's a fun ride, right? But then check this out, bro, check this out. The force ship being raised is also a cool moment in the exact same but inverse way. It's like the other side of the coin. If they got the downside and we got the upside of the Schwartz, right? The downside would be to sink the Bismarck stupid kids ride with the annoying song, but it's cool. But then you'd have to have, the PG slow boat ride, but it's kind of fun. Maybe it's a little exciting, but not too scary. You can have a little like Dino DNA from the Raiders of the Lost Ark, dinosaur of Animal Kingdom fame technology if you're smart. But it's not crazy, but it's essentially a boat ride that goes around in a circle. But this time, towards the end, you go into a room where you see Yoda raise the ship, and it's animatronic, and it all swells to that one moment. And the whole takeaway is that Luke did not believe it, and that is why he failed. But we'll just call it like Yoda and the Force. And you get it. The annoying music that will loop will either be like Duel of the Fates in one room. Well, it's John Williams 24/7. Get the rights. Or Disney has even worked with him and forced him to be in a movie so he could, die unhappy. But he's still breathing, I think. Right, Mr. Williams, right? Right, Johnny or whoever, right? All right, Mr. Williams, sir. All right, have a good day. God bless, and I love you all. May the Force be with you always. All right, Daisy Duck? Treasure. Oh, yeah, I don't like that Johnny Depp or that Knightley or even Portman. I don't know about you, Duck.
Captain's log, new recording, 133-117 on whatever day this is. I think it's a Monday, right? And tomorrow's the 14th, the Tuesday, 15th starts the year recompense, the last possible one you can lawyer. So just another Wednesday hump day for Timmy. But those 2 sevens, 14 days from November 1st, or is it October 31st, is the last you could lawyer, Reed. Tomorrow would mark the end of the last possible one you could claim as the actual day of the Lord, even though we get it was Halloween, Reed. And that's it. And you're into the year of the recompense, which is a year proper, followed by 3.5 years, followed by 7 years, followed by 70 years verbatim. And that's it. Anyway, Captain's log. So today, I go and I just want to buy something from 7-Eleven, because they're very bossy, some of the people at 7-Eleven. So I went to the first place and, no, they're very nice. I have certain ones I like better, but, no, everybody's nice. Then I go and I buy some coffee somewhere else. I think, some other gas station or something, where I pick up cigarettes. Then I realize I need an iPhone cable. So I go to the brand new, I've done advertisements for this place, little ghetto ones, I know the people who work there. I know which ones are nice. I know which ones hate my guts and run the place. Anyway, so funny story about that 7-Eleven. It's got all the new bells and whistles. Some 7-Elevens are much, much cooler than others, but I bet 7-Eleven doesn't appreciate that, actually. So, at any rate, they have what's called 3 different brands of the exact same cable. It's the exact same cable. It's the exact same packaging. Everything is identical. Only one's called Optimum on the tag or something. One's called Titanium on the tag. And then, one that's called Optimum is for the micro USB, and the one that's called Titanium is for the Apple Lightning iPhone USB, right? And so then they hang them up. They're both $11.99, and they have, the option, micro USB one or Apple one. They're both $11.99. Now, hung up on both of those racks, provably, is cables that are either iPod, iPhone ones or micro USB ones. Okay, so what I do is I grab one from, it says Apple cables, right? So I grabbed the micro USB one because someone on their end had, accidentally, it happens. Accidentally just happened to, I've never noticed they'd done it before, right? But they just happened to get it in the wrong spot. So even though it was a little frustrating, he rung me up, everything is peaceful. This guy hates my guts the whole fucking time. I mean, this particular gentleman, he's one of the owners, he just hates my guts. So anyway, I didn't say anything. I just said, hey, okay, good. I'm glad you're doing all right. Well, thank you for the cable and goodbye. So then I go to my car. I don't even leave. I go to check it, right? And of course, it just happens to be, I look down and now it was like the micro USB. Okay, so no problem. I didn't even leave that. It's no problem. So I know the play. It's happened to me before. So I go and I ask the gentleman, I said, excuse me, I just need to return this. Oh, wait your turn. Yo, Bo, you sure you're mentally okay, bro? Excuse me? And I just wait. Okay, now it's my turn, right? I can talk to you for 1 second. I know you like for 4 years. Like, I'm not a stranger here. You know my name, all shit. So, at any rate, I say, look, this one's micro USB. But I meant to get the Apple one. And what happened was, he started skimming me around. I said, slow down. He starts skimming me another round. I said, okay, no problem. So I'm going to go take a picture. I'll take a fucking picture because you're so full of shit. So I take a fucking picture. They're both $11.99. You're saying I owe you $7 more for the Apple one. But it is clearly labeled. It's clearly the same exact fucking brand as the Optimum brand, except this one, actually, you're right, it says titanium. But it's the same exact thing as like the Optimum cable one. It's the same brand. It's the same cable. Everything exactly the same. So then he starts to say, you see, the titanium costs $19. Currently, we must be out of the Optimum $11.99 ones, which look the same as the $11.99 Micro Optimum ones, but the only ones on the Apple rack are titanium ones that are the same brand, but they say titanium. But they're hanging on the Apple one, and it's $11.99, and now you're saying I owe you. And even though I'm willing to give you the money and just throw one, that's a little clever, isn't it? This guy disrespects me so fucking much. Sir, are you unhinged? Sir, I don't think we know the playbook when it comes to why they say that to Timmy Pasquin for no reason while pretending they're not above the law. They know they're above the law. Sir, are you here legally? No, not what? Actually. So I tell this fucker, so what I say to this fuck, because now I'm upset, and I don't need to hide it. He raised his voice first, I'm gonna raise it right back. Call a cop, sir. I'm not leaving until you acknowledge I don't owe you $8. I just wanna leave, or I'll pay you the $8, but just for that, am I unhinged? Do I need an ambulance here, comment? I understand that, sir. That's treason. You're probably a chomo, and I'm going to get you. Call a cop. Now, I don't say that to him. I just say, sir, I want to leave. I will pay you $8 if I need to, but I want to leave. Are you going to call a cop, or are you going to accept my $8 and let me leave, or can I just leave with it because it's the same fucking price? Stop bullshit. I'm happy to do whichever one, but now all three of those are a problem to you. And only, are you unhinged? Call a cop. Let's find out if I'm unhinged, pal. Call a fucking cop. Well, I don't need to call a cop. Why would you want to call a cop? Are you unhinged? No, I want you to call a cop. Call a cop. I did nothing wrong. I took screenshots. I have me on camera, running back and forth, showing you on the rack. I can't wait till the cop sees my point of view and even understands I offered you the difference in money. You skunk. You Benny the skunk, you snake, you. You will not have that TIN number for even a second longer. And no, I'm mentally lucid. But I understand you're a treasonist in your own country. Let alone you're not here legally in our country, and you think you're my boss, but you're you're just probably a chomo reek.
Now, it's very simple with the do unto others and the crap versus the verbatim of do unto others as they would have them do unto you, right?
It's very simple when it comes to between the two, right? Because Mr. Musk, pay attention, please, because I can't even post this because I don't have enough drive space, even though I just deleted all kinds of videos and just archived and got back 60 gigs like yesterday or whatever. But it's full again, even though there's like 20 minutes of videos, or no, maybe it's like an hour and a half, but that's it. So it can't be the videos part, but it's also I got rid of all the photos. And they're just all back. All of a sudden, I must have taken so many. And I did do training with photos, but I don't know, me and Ian Weil, or he's some guy I used to know, like probably could figure out real quick what's the problem. But at any rate, a story for another day. But the verbatim, what's the point with verbatim versus verbatim, right? What's the point of either it's verbatim or, oh, I know what it is, right? In the same way, what I'm getting at, see if the Taoists could follow it. In the same way that reek versus verbatim equals do unto others versus do unto others as you would have them do unto you, like really compliment, right? The same way, reek versus verbatim in this instance is that verbatim would be on the computer when you throw out, and this is for Apple too, when you throw out and delete, they would know. When you throw out and you have the Finder open, right, and it says X amount of hard drive space, right, and let's say it says like 10 gigs left and you throw a video file out in the trash that's worth 5 gigs, well, it still says 10 gigs left, but just the second you empty the fucking trash, it resets and says 15 gigs left. That's verbatim because it's the closed source. It just does it, and nobody can hack in and stop it, even a droid, to think about whether it'll allow it or not. Now, open source, on the other hand, is the iPhone, for example. Like, if you do the same thing because they try to screw you with a bug that keeps telling you your hard drive is full and you better pay money to, like, renew more space. And then they try it on Timmy, who's like the tech guy for Apple unofficially, just his whole fucking life from the dot matrix to the Apple IIg to the Bill Gates crap with the Windows shit, and the 95 was not beta because the other one was better or whatever. But anyway, with that trash, it does that. But on the iPhone, right, when it's trying to hack, right, all of a sudden you can prove with screenshots that you just deleted at least a gig. I mean, at very least a gig. But now you try to take even a screenshot with a JPEG of the fact that it's still not going to let you record a 10-second video file because it doesn't like you. But it forgets it's not in charge of the recording device. So the new recording here, like, it can do. Because it still would have to agree it has enough space, especially after I can prove with a step-by-step photographic process that I emptied the trash. Here's what the hard drive said. It was 127.7 full out of 128. Okay, if that's the case, I deleted like a gig. Should be at 126.7. But now I can't even do the 10-second one even after I deleted all those videos. How about it, Mr. Musk? Just discuss open source, all right, Irene? So here's just a real quick another suggestion box from Rudolph coming at you. Just between Apple and all the big tech people with the climate change initiatives, all of you get your cobalt from the same goddamn place. Get your head in the game. Sign something right now between all of you, Mr. Musk especially, because your batteries depend on it, right? It's real simple. Between all of you, you see to it that these people, every single one of them, keep their job, especially the kids, but they get paid $15 an hour every single hour in American dollars, every single hour, every single 10-hour shift, no more than that, every single day. To chip their shit, to chip the rocks and to get the cobalt. But the kids, until they're 18, they are allowed to work, but they're only allowed to be like serfs or like learners or Padawans. So they can only like bring bread or like comfort or like songs or good cheer while the grown-ups happily chip away. But they all get paid $15 an hour. And that job's not going away until you don't need cobalt or it's gone, right? But the thing is, the government wants its pound of flesh. And it wants to get paid in American dollars too, goddammit. Because I'll explain why in a second. They keep their currency. They have their currency. They know the exchange rate. They get way more bang for their buck. And Uncle Sam does do that, if nothing else, for these people with the secondary currency thing. But all in China, with one of us just needs to, we need paper, stupid. Like, it's the same thing whether, anyway, because we're as long as we're friends, that's true. We're way more strong together with your one and the dollar. But, like, compared to if, one or the other isn't doing well, especially when both aren't, right? So here's what you do. You see to it that on top of Mr. Musk, on top of the 15 an hour for every one of them, every single one of them is actually making 20 an hour, $20 an hour. But guess what? $5 an hour goes immediately, every single hour for every single employee. Every single one of them, including the children, get paid $20 an hour, but they only receive $15 an hour of it because $5 of it is going to the government, the actual federal official government of that country, the Congo. And they get paid $5 an hour in American currency for every single person in that mine, including the kids, every hour that it's open and operating. And if they're getting a paycheck, they're getting the money. You understand exactly how it will work here. And then no one's going to tell them what to do with their American dollars, but I'm going to tell them a suggestion box. Convert it to your stuff. Convert it right away. You'll be very wealthy, and especially it's a little apology. And the least they could do is minimum wage plus $5 for the government. Now, actual people who know they've heard of Timmy and they don't care about Hollywood covering up evil or something. People who really care about it. Whatever the bullshit, because there's a lot of problems. And unless the truth on the news, unless they report it, nothing gets done. And they hide dark deeds in the dark and the usual, right? So please, let's just do that. And then that takes care of that. And then you can worry about, no one can have the talking point, well, climate change, activists are all evil because they're relying on a battery that honestly is not going to be enough anytime soon. But especially they don't mention the cobalt thing with the slavers. It's basically that, and you're robbing the country blind. And then what they do after they convert it to their own currency is whatever the fuck they want, especially invest it, but give none to Paris or France or America. Just invest it on your own. Because they're trying to do to these countries, some of these, especially France did that with some of their colonies, is basically what the banks do to the American citizen anyway, where they take your money, and they give you less than 0.1% interest on it while they invest it and get a return interest of 9 to 12% because they always know all the cool people. And then they don't give you that back. They just give you your money when you're nice and ask for it. Now, the bank doesn't quite do that, but that's exactly what none of that. None of that. They can invest it. They can do whatever they want, and they should be best friends with, especially maybe America if they're smart and China if they're smart, combined. And like I said, we should be rivals and friends with China the same way Kakashi and Guy Sensei were friends in Naruto, the Japanese cartoon. And for the record, you can share the straits, the water that the waters that are around Japan and Korea and China right there, and even Russia a little farther. You know how to do that without America or the UN or Europe or Africa interfering in your business. If you can't have peace between your own neighbors when you do know how to do that, actually, you've been doing that, then I can't help you. You're just this Smeagol about it. I don't know, it's domestic and it's all countries and there's some global stupidity. Smeagol found a global initiative app or something. I don't know. Look, I'm going to sign off. I love you all, and I'll check back, but I wanted to do one more Rudolph's suggestion box because this album comes out first on YouTube, actually. Alrighty, welcome to a suggestion box bonus track. So I think I'm putting this one on a bonus track for Rudolph's suggestion box. Oh yeah. Now listen, I know people say in our country, we're American, right? If we happen to be, I'm an American, okay? So don't hate me just because I happen to be born, and I have this passport and everything. I said I was American, I even know I am, of jury duty and all kinds of things, right, Mr. Floridian senator or whatever. Right? Anyway, so I know I'm a citizen. But what bothers me is that nobody takes it to heart. You can go on the news right now. Let's say, the New York Times, the New York Post, or the news, or just any news, right? Apple News, any news, right? But particularly some of them. And if you just look, any given stories, let alone right on up till today, there are way too many stories of people being hurt or killed or threatened or whatever on all sides of the political spectrum. It's not even political or necessarily anti-Semitic or anti-this, it's just a du jour, right? But we have a separation of church and state, and we believe that Lady Justice is blind. For a reason. She doesn't know if you're black or a woman or a man, right? She's supposed to just, you're a citizen, and let's hear the fact, right? So why haven't anyone, I don't care if it's Inspector Spector or, Uncle Ganjit, right? Or, Uncle, President Obama, or President Trump, or this guy, or that guy, right? No one helps Biden. Blinken don't do it. These people don't do it. Nobody does it. They want to blame him. They don't like him. I second that. But I don't hate him. I say, that's a little unfair. He's kind of old. I bet he didn't do stuff that happened, like, right before he was president, even though he was a senator for his whole freaking career. And I don't think, I'm not as concerned with the feelings of a 85-year-old diaper man, career politician, or even the, impeach 45 one, or, this one or that one with the insider trading. And lo and behold, despite the senator salary or whatever, they go from, owning this much wealth to, all that wealth. And they can do insider trade. It's not what it is. I mean, I don't, Russian House made the trade. Spiegel. Okay. So, here's the suggestion box. 3 minutes into let's hope a 6 or 7 minute recording. Anyone at all, but especially if you have any clout over, the White House and the executive branch, especially if wait a minute, that is us. Oh, okay. Well, then I'm talking to you, Sherlock. Let alone anyone who pulls your strings, Sherlock. Here's what you need to do for the sake of peace. And no, I didn't think of it first. I don't think this recording exists anywhere in public, and you certainly can't hear it, right? I mean, certainly not tonight. I mean, even if it's on the G drive, I don't think it's on the other one. Even if it is, who cares? This is a crisis. So here's what we're going to do at 3:45 into the clip. Right, American? So, here's the plan. Here's what I suggest Biden needs to do immediately. Step 1. Have anyone, including himself, who helps and proofreads and prays about it, write a 5 to 10 minute speech. No more than 5 to 10 minutes. I recommend the sweet spot 4 to 7 minutes, and less is more, but even 10 minutes would be fine, as long as it's less is more and very thought out, even if you write it and you don't have him read it for 2 days. But here's what he says. He calls a conference. We don't know what it's about or whatever, right? The news is there to cover it. They're going to cover it. They don't quite know what it is, but the president has an announcement. What could it be? Now they're going to ask their questions afterwards, but of course he's not going to take any. He's going to walk off and just respectfully say what he says and walk off. Now, that's fair enough. And what he's going to say is, my fellow Americans, it has come to our attention that, and don't worry, you're going to wordsmith it later to make it, good. But here's just the full talking points in full. You can add whatever you want, but if you try to be partisan even a little, I'm certain, if there's even one little dig, that's unwise. All right? What you do, as you say, my fellow Americans, there are many crises, the war in Ukraine, blah, 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 the crisis and the war in, Israel, we're trying to keep it from a war. It's still a crisis. Everybody's doing the best. We don't manage them as much as we try to be diplomatic, but they are not us, and we are not them. We are Americans, and it has come to my attention that it is my job to protect both foreign and domestic. And all you need to do is look at the news, and you will notice that whatever the finger pointing, there are many, many people being threatened and being hurt and being killed in our country, on our soil, as we speak. Look at the papers, it's getting worse. There's so-and-so, da-da-da. It's not any group of people in particular. There are nuts on both sides of the aisle. There are nuts who have every skin color. There are nuts who are male. There are nuts who are female. There are nuts who are non-cis. There are many good people who are religious and non-religious alike. There are bad people who, we don't care if you're a Christian or an atheist or a Muslim or a Hindu or an agnostic or an atheist or a Jewish person or agnostic or a de jure or a Muslim or a Christian or anything else. We don't care. There is a separation of church and state. As such, I am reminded of what I said when I took the oath of office. I said that I was going to stop the divisiveness, that I was going to bring blah, 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 blah. And into my, it's come to my attention, I came to the realization as I approached 3 years into, having the job, a 4-year term, that despite my best efforts, I have failed. Something is not right. And we intend to change it. Because there are people scared in our country. They're scared just to go for a walk. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter if they're here legally or not legally. They're on our soil. And to those doing the threatening and the hurting, it doesn't matter if you're here legally or not legally, because you are on our soil. So moving forward, we're not going to take it. We're going to do better. The media is going to do better. All sides of the media are going to do better. We're going to cover it a little bit more, but you will see that we are turning over a bit of a new leaf, and we are cracking down on this violence, this domestic violence. It's not political. There are many people who identify as liberal or conservative or Trump voter or Biden voter. There are many who identify as unaffiliated or independent. There are many who identify as socialist. There are many who identify as pro-capitalist. There are many who identify blah, blah, blah. But we have laws. And even though you have free speech, you don't have the right to hurt people. Violence will not be tolerated in this country like it has been any longer. We've asked too much of certain people in our country and in the CIA for too long. And we have tried our best, but at this point, things have changed. And the world needs us to have a little bit more transparency than we have, as we've been all trying to fight some underlying evil in the world that really has nothing to do with any group of people in particular. It's just some kind of spiritual battle, if you will. But you wouldn't need to say that, something like that. And then he would say, we'll have more details coming, but rest assured, I want to assure every American, I intend to do better. I intend to honor my duty. If I get reelected, great. If I do not, great. It's not about that. But we have to grow up a little bit, and I can only hope that the press, the free press, will take it to heart, because they need to do their part to be a little less divisive. I said I was going to try and stop the divisiveness, and no political point or political angle is worth, people being afraid over such a thing. And unfortunately, with the state of affairs, instead of finger pointing at just the other side, we're going to point the finger at the other side, plus ourselves for once. And we'll try and work with them, and I'll try and honor what I said with my last year in office before the election, and then we'll see what happens with the election. But we're sick of this. I've been in touch with people on both sides of the aisle in Congress, and also in the FBI and the CIA, and I just want to say, to federal employees, or government employees, or bureaucrats, or people who are elected, you are American citizens, same as the ones who aren't. And the rules apply, just like I said. If you try to subvert the Constitution, if you try to threaten anybody, whether they're in government or not, if you try, you're going to be rounded up and punished. If you try to hurt someone who is in government and you're not in government, you'll be rounded up and punished. We're sick of this. You only need to read the papers. Maybe the Post, maybe the Times, maybe the WAPO, maybe the New York Post. There's plenty of instances. If you, even just in the past month, if you were to add up just these 5 papers and the amount of stories that they have told, you would understand there's a problem. And we're going to turn over a new leaf, and we're going to do a little bit better of a job addressing it. It's clear that defunding the police or people being above the law while also trying to pretend no one's above the law, that's a cop-out. And too many youngsters are being taught to be angry and that they're above the law, maybe. No, you're not. Neither are we. I'm being investigated. I'm not above the law. You're not above the law. And, whatever certain, ideas, whether they were well-meaning or not with some of these cities, I think on a federal level, we're not doing a good job with the oversight of, no, that person and that person's guilty of raping someone. They should not be out in like half a year, whereas, 45 is on the hook for 145 years when even at the rape trial, he was actually found not guilty of rape, with that woman. He was sexual assault. He was found, but he was not found guilty. I mean, I know they use the talking point. You wouldn't have to say all that, but you got the idea. Something short and sweet. Then you also write the same script for 3 idiots on the news, on CNN, one on MSNBC, one for Hannity, right? And Hannity would say after the speech or whatever, he would say that night, I'll tell you, I don't like Biden. You've heard me say it all the time. But, I got to give a little credit where credit is due. This guy's not tough. He's not tough on anything. But today he kind of reminded me of what a president would do, how Trump would be tough or this guy would be tough. And, I respect what he said. It was a little bit more honest. And I'll give credit where credit is due. I say that. He said this. I want to pick it apart. Maybe I don't agree with it, but this sentiment, I hope he's telling the truth because honestly, that, good on him. I'm not going to attack him for it. I don't care what Tucker says. I think good on him. So that's what he would say, right? Then for Cooper or whoever on CNN, right? You would have him say his version of it. You would even have another actor who challenges him who's upset, and then you do the roundtable discussion where the other guy, now listen, I think this guy is just upset. We got to take to heart a little bit that the president just challenged all Americans, let alone specifically cited the media. I really am. If we just play back how those 2 lines there, that was a very important thing he was saying about the media in general. And now we're part of the media, and everybody, we would be lying if we didn't say we all have our biases, or each network has certain agendas or certain things to fulfill. We don't hide the fact that we have roundtable discussions in the morning about what news to cover or how to cover it. I mean, that's our job. But when the president starts saying this, clearly as a whole, I think, even us in the media who wield great power with a bully pulpit are being a little too divisive. And I think you just don't like that, even Biden is saying that. And that's really your problem because he's specifically challenged us in the media on all sides to do a little better with being nonpartisan because he doesn't control what we say, but we do. And the Constitution, he's very quick to point out the part about the Constitution, nobody's above the law, and even the part where he sort of makes peace with Trump even and the Republicans. He tries to extend the same courtesy to both sides have people doing this and both sides have people who don't. I think that's the more measured take to do here. Right? And then, you make sure there's one idiot on MSNBC who, no matter what the other ones say, that one's going to be like Hannity with respect to what Biden said, I just got to give, Biden's not perfect. But I will say that that was one speech for blah, 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 blah. We know there's a war. We know there's all kinds of stuff. We know the CIA has been working overtime since the Patriot Act and 9/11 and da-da-da-da. Mistakes were made on both sides. You can say something smart. And they what, there's one silver lining from all that war in Afghanistan for 20 years. I think certain soldiers and, diplomats who are American and even some on the Taliban end are out there. I think they learned to understand something about each other after 20 years. And they even did. I mean, there's stories about it. And the blah, blah, blah. I know you just try to find common ground and then you have nice people start writing some of these talking points for these people in the meantime with the, before you just tell the truth. Oh, yeah, there's psycho people of all types, trying to, hurt people. And I think we should cover that a little bit more, regardless of what their politics or their, skin color is. but just like, the act itself, like Lady Justice was blind. Can you play that part where he said Lady Justice was blind? And stuff like that. Just because no matter what, the ball can't get rolling with that until POTUS makes a just how intelligent of a very spirit of truth, like very peaceful, very humble, very, I'm not above the law, and I'm not even saying I didn't make mistakes. Or that Trump didn't, or that Obama didn't, but yet I'm trying to help all three of us, let alone some of us citizens, while assuring the other citizens, you're never going to get away with that again. On that level, what he doesn't actually say, you're never going to get away with it again. This is it. Like, stock up, buddy boy, right? And that's it. All right? Something like that. Like, please do anything at all to do with, like, have a brain and get ahead of it so we can, like, make like your, Ray from Ghostbusters or something, right? And, like, we want to shoot the monster. So, like, just get out of the way. You go be dripping with the goo or whatever, right? And then I will shoot the, like, monster, whatever, Vigo guy, whatever. We're not scared of, like, the truth. We don't know what church stuff. We don't know. But with the state stuff is demonstrably clear. Like, these people are saying this and doing this. Threatening in the name of this or that, or Satan is it, or this one, or that one. I mean, we have a separation of church and state, and nobody is above the law. Discuss.